All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast, number 153 with Ron Plays Games. Ron, how are we doing today?
Thank you, good sir. As previously mentioned, I am moister than an oyster. The New Zealand climate right now it's heating up, real heating up.
I'm pretty jealous of that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's some I don't know. I feel like as a super degenerate, like I was a degenerate RuneScape player years ago. I guess you could still classify me in that category, but like I've definitely been a lot more active lately in recent years. But I loved the winter time because I didn't have to feel bad about not going outside, you know? So the winter time was like, hell yeah, I get a game, don't need to feel bad about it. And nowadays I just miss it. Like I just miss the good weather. But you're saying it's like blistering out there. Is that true?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's guilt-free gaming. As long as there's no sun shining and it's a bit overcast, you can mentally get away with that. You can trade in and get a monitor tan. Um,
Winter time.
I, I have literally been blistering. I went for a cheeky little surf yesterday. Very non-gamer of me. I apologize.
Yeah, yeah, what the hell, man?
Um,
You knew the
yeah,
cast was coming up and you went serving.
I
God damn it.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to be more of a degenerate. I've got to make time.
Hey,
But I
yeah, yeah, go for it.
my forearm literally blistered. Yeah, like it literally blistered. I don't think we have an ozone layer in New Zealand. Yeah, I don't know. Mother Nature was just like, they've got it pretty good. They're far away from everyone. If there's a world war that goes down, they'll probably be okay. But let's give them severe levels of radiation and mild superpowers.
It's probably I mean I've never been to like anywhere like Australia, New Zealand, anywhere over there, but I have been to Mexico. And Mexico, like I went actually to Mexico last year for Christmas, and my dumbass thought like the 5 UV thing was like the 5 UV in North America, you know, just like United States, just like okay, we're good, like 5 UV, I could be out for like an hour. So I
Yeah.
decided, like, I was like, and the worst part was, is I was there for 5 days, and 4 of the days it was just raining. So the one day we get sunshine, it was like just enough to maybe get some like good Mexican sun, and I was like, okay, hell yeah, and yeah, I absolutely just fried myself to a crisp. I mean, literally within like an hour and 20 minutes, just completely red everywhere and just blistering for the next 2 weeks. It was bad. So it's
Hey,
probably
I
something
mean,
like that.
how do you like yourself served up? Are you sort of a medium rare kind of guy, under that kind of sun, or are you well done? Like how psychotic are we getting here?
The thing is, I don't even know if it's well done is basically dead. I mean, that's like the internal, like just like you are actually roasting. I think there because if I had been out, like if I had fallen asleep outside, like dear God, like I actually probably would have gotten cancer, like just straight up and died.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably like I don't know, like a medium rare, I guess. Definitely not like anywhere past medium.
Fair, fair. I had Flutton on one of the game shows one time, and she said she had her steak well done with barbecue sauce. I could not believe
Oh,
it.
we're talking legitimate steak. I thought we were comparing
Oh
steaks to
yeah.
sunburns. Jesus Christ. I thought you
I
were
was like
saying
trying to
if,
segue. I was trying to
oh
segue in
dear
there.
God. Yeah, I'm like trying to like compare myself to a fucking steak. Oh, okay. We're talking steak, still medium rare. I'm still gonna go that. Hell yeah, I'm medium
Okay.
rare.
Yeah.
As long as it's
Yeah.
warm. It's gotta like it's gotta I think medium rare is what do they say? It's like hot. Okay, no. I think medium is hot in the middle. Medium rare is like they say is warm in the middle. It needs to be like right out, you know. I need to eat it immediately, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just tend to ask people like, not too off the bat in conversation when you get to know someone, but it is worth knowing if you're talking to a serial killer when they say they like it well done or they like it blue. That's beneficial for your own
Oh
safety.
yeah. Oh yeah. So the blue is like on the very end of the spectrum, like with rare, right? Like just frozen still.
Yeah. It's like seared on one side, like maybe or both
Okay.
sides for
Just
20
raw.
seconds, and then they just chuck it on a
Oh
plate like the bad
God.
boy's still
Yeah.
still mooing. Yeah.
The thing is, I would if it was like a good, like really authentic place that I'm spending $100 on a steak, which I never do ever and never probably will. But if I were to do that, I wouldn't be against getting a rare steak, to be fair, because
Mm,
I know
mm.
that the food is handled properly, and I know it's going to be like, I don't know. I'm not totally against it. Now, if it's cold in the middle, no. But like if it's good enough. Like, I don't know. I think I'd be down for that for the most part. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I think that's very noble. I think that's the only way to go rare is like if you're having a good cut of steak.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it kind of does it justice. I don't know how many of your viewers are vegan. I do apologize for us talking about this 10 minutes into the
Yeah, no,
podcast.
well, they're gone now, so now we can continue.
Yeah. Wean them out.
You know, my sister and brother. What was that? My sister and brother-in-law live here in Eugene, Oregon, with me, and not with me in the same place, but like 20 minutes away. And they're both dedicated vegans, and their daughter's vegan.
Yeah.
So whenever I go over for like dinner or something, it's like it has to be vegan, and it's kind of nice because I can at least respect vegans. I respect like the ideology to an extent. You know, and I think there's something to be. This is just something that I've like ignored my whole life basically until like just the last several years, where I'm like, okay, this like legitimately makes sense, and you know, and to an extent, as I say, like just animal suffering, just unnecessarily. But I don't know. One of the things that kind of gets me about veganism is like, if the food was already made, you know, like what is the difference between you eating it and throwing it away? You know, if it's like a one time, obviously, like you want to kind of make a stand of like, okay, I'm against like eating animals because of the cruelty side. That's usually what it is. It's not really about like the health benefits.
Conscious thing, isn't it? A lot of the time, you know.
But even like if I were to ever become a vegan, and that's really not off the table, to be honest. I fully eat meat. Like I enjoy the hell out of it. I still do it all the time. But if I were to get to that point, I wouldn't be against still eating meat if it was served to me. Like if somebody if I'm going somewhere and somebody serves me meat, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm throwing this away, motherfucker. Like hell no.
Right.
I'm going to eat it because it's already dead. Like it's already there. Like just eat it.
That's right. So like if you are, it's a nice day. Picture this.
Okay.
You've just slayed a couple of goblins for a chef's hat. I run past Infernal Max Cape. I'm looking quick. I'm looking athletic. Jawline's good. And I run straight into that cow pen. I set up my cannon and I start blasting. Let's just say there's a lot of raw beef everywhere. You know what I mean? It's exactly the same thing. You're going to come in, pick it up. It's not wasteful, right?
Well, think about this. The cow pens in Lumbridge are generally like pretty large size. Like they're living a good life for the most part. As long as they weren't born in a free-to-play world. Like they're living a pretty decent life. So you insta-killing them is pretty humane, honestly.
100%. I do feel bad sometimes. Like you hit a 2 or something. You're like, oh god, like. It's
or just
around,
a 6. Like I think they have 8 HP. If you hit a 7 and then leave them, oh dear god, that's just.
People just start looking across, you know, from like over the fence, just judging you.
Just a hole in the middle of it.
It's gonna get it. Hole. Just replaces the head.
Oh my god. Yeah. No. No, but I'm definitely a meat lover. I just like it's one of those things like. I don't know. Like I just love meat. You know, it's just how it is. I guess it's just part of being a human, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think from a primal point of view, like we're made to. I mean, like carnivore is like our most primal diet, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like, the health benefits that you get from that like align extremely well with like. You know, the diet itself, it kind of shows the proof is in the pudding a bit.
Just loaded with nutrients. I mean, literally, like, I don't know all the science behind, like, the carnivore-only diet where you just eat meat. But, like, I can't imagine that's going to lead to, like, bad health. Besides, like, just clogged arteries, potentially, if you have, like, too much beef. But, like, all the vitamins and nutrients you're getting from that shit, like, that's... You'll be good. Like, you'll be able to build a lot of muscle, too.
Yeah, I mean it's a form of ketosis, and like it's actually shown to be really, really beneficial in actually curing things like onset like Alzheimer's and a lot of mental deficiencies that people have, especially at old age. Like the carnivore diet has actually like negated that in a lot of cases. It's
interesting. See, I always wonder how I like wonder how those studies are like conducted because. It feels like if you were to switch to a carnivore diet for like a study or something, it's not like you're going from the most optimal vegetarian diet. You've probably eaten fucking like Cheetos and other shit and like, just a bunch of garbage, and then you switch to a really pure form of eating, which is just meat. Like that's got to do wonders on your like health. You know, it's I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, like, what if you were to really get all your nutrients, all your macros in, everything, live a very active lifestyle, vegetarian, and then compare it to a meat? Like, would they equal out if you're still getting everything? Like, I don't know. It's definitely a lot easier with carnivore diet. Don't get me wrong. You just eat the meat and you're good.
That's the hard part too. It's like sustaining just having meat. Like sometimes you kind of want to, you know, bro, you see a French fry and it's painful. You see people eating like some nice juicy carbs and you're like, oh, like that was a good pastime. I've tried it out actually, and that's the hardest part is trying to sustain the diet. It's very expensive too, just buying red meat and whatnot and eggs and fructose and stuff. But yeah, because I had this this chronic inflammation like condition, this reactive arthritis stuff, and so I kind of went to all four corners of the globe really to, you know, different angles and things like that. And the carnivore diet like reduced a lot of the pain as well.
So
Yeah.
with the carnivore diet, what are you restricted to? You said you can eat eggs, meat, and you said, do you say fructose? You just say like
fruit, so you can,
so you're getting your sugar still?
Yeah, you can get sugars and stuff. So
Okay.
you can have like honey.
Do you include
like
fruit in yours? I've heard that's popular. People like include fruit.
Yeah, it's a better way to manage it so that you can do it for longer. Just
Okay.
sticking to just straight carnivore just makes it really, really hard to sustain. But it's basically like you'd wake up and, you know, you just have like eggs or lamb mince or something. And then you're just having, yeah, pretty much like steak, beef, chicken across just all your meals. Yeah, it's any type of meat in pretty decent quantities. But I found like I lost a lot of weight as well, just because it's way harder to stomach all of that and keep up your calories. But it definitely was an interesting dive. Definitely had a lot of mental clarity with carnivore diet. Like
That's
I
nice.
gamed way harder with carnivore. Weirdly, like had good energy levels, but yeah, not sustainable. It was very hard, very hard to do for a long time.
So what do you do now? Are you still pretty much sort
Oh
of
no, I'm
carnivore?
Uber Eats 3 times a day,
Okay.
baby. Macca's. What do you mean? No.
You look great. Do you feel great? Do you feel like good? Like, is your arthritis? You said something about arthritis. What was that exactly?
Yeah, reactive arthritis. It's basically like I had an infection in my body, and at the time I was hosting like a method, like a casting event, and I just remember it of just like 6 hours of one of the most stressful things because I was casting on behalf of another brand. Like, you know, it's cool when you do it for yourself, and it's your own fault if something, you know, stuffs up.
Yeah.
Wow, I said stuff instead of the F word. How is that for some control?
That was
Um,
really good. Well done. Now you can say fuck all you want.
oh, I'll get to it.
Okay.
And yeah, like I was having to do call outs and things, and it was this PvP event I knew nothing about. And I was hosting the event, and Eviescape was casting, and I was just commenting on like the PK's like fashion and things like that too. Like I had no idea what was going on, and it was fun in hindsight, but it was very stressful. And yeah, at the same time, when I woke up sort of the next day, and are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, cool. My monitors all just turned off. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I woke up the next day and basically my entire knee was completely filled with like liquid, like it's something really wrong had happened. And I had to wait 3 months to see a rheumatologist, which is like a specialist, you know, for your knee and some of your joints and stuff dealing with inflammation. And so yeah, I've gone on a bit of a tangent here, but basically like my body had physically broken down, I think, due to a combination of my immune system being completely weakened because it was fighting this infection, and then like a really strenuous event. That's kind of how it happens. It's like a click. And I had a cyst on the back of my knee. Have you heard of a Baker's cyst?
No.
No, but that had basically ruptured, and that's what had caused all of this fluid to pour out around my knee. And so, luckily, I trained my whole life for this. It was just 3 months of just great gaming. But mate, I was just hobbling around the place like a cannonball that hit me for 6 out of 8 HP. You know.
Damn.
Yeah. So, got on a case of steroids and that kind of sort of recorrected everything to a degree, but all the joints basically with this reactive arthritis, what had happened is they kind of like they broke down a wee bit. They were all inflamed, so there's always like pressure and swelling around most of the joints that I use a lot of in my body. And so like every like step I take is like painful kind of thing. And so that hasn't disappeared. I've had that for like 3 or 4 years kind of thing. Sorry, this just sounds like I'm just absolutely whining right now. But
No, it's interesting.
yeah,
Because you're like how old?
32.
Okay.
32.
Yeah, I'm turning
Probably,
29 this year, so.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So we're I think it's cool to talk about now. I mean, if we were, 20, and my audience was all like, 19-year-olds, like that's one thing. But we're all getting to that point where we're like, oh shit, like we're actually like kind of old now. Like I feel like my audience actually appreciates discussions like this. Like people go through shit all of a sudden in their late 20s, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah, it's like when you're 30, you just get slapped with like a severe condition or something. You're like, yo, welcome to adulthood.
Yeah.
Here's some adversity that you're going to have to deal with. You thought you had it good for, too long, and you did. But here's a challenge. Good luck.
Yeah, no, for real. Dude, can you imagine, like, I'm just thinking right now, if you were to have been born in like the 1800s or even like earlier, like you wouldn't know what the fuck that you're dealing with, basically. It's just your
100%.
body's decaying, and it's like, oh God, like, okay, I don't even know what to do now, Like, we don't have modern medicine, like, it's crazy, like the luxuries we have nowadays to be able to know, like, diagnose what we got and just actually go about it in a healthy way.
100%. I mean, they'll just cut your legs off, I reckon, back then. They'll be like, it doesn't look right. Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah, and then just like rub some dirt in the blood, like that's good.
Tip off right out. Couple slaps
dirt,
on it, just kick you out the door. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, nah. So that's it's been really hard, bro, because it's been a mental lock for me. Like it's when I guess you have pain in your body like almost every second of the day. It's very hard to escape it, and it just kind of sits in your head, and it's hard to sort of let go of it in a sense.
Yeah.
Or to deal with it, and it's like a writer's block. The way I think of it is just because I've had this, even though it doesn't affect my ability to game physically, like mentally, it's carried such a weight where I haven't actually been able to be myself to a degree.
Ugh.
Yeah, so it's been really, really punishing for trying to keep up with like content and innovate and have that hunger, just because this has been the priority, but I can't seem to get on top of it,
Oh, that sucks, man. See, that's something like you just don't, you can't see it on the surface of people, but like, damn, you're dealing with some shit. Like just knowing, like, so you say like you are in pretty much constant like slight pain. Is that right? Is that what I'm getting? Like just, or at least like parts of the day? Is it like pretty much like nonstop?
It's pretty much nonstop. Like even if I'm sitting down, my knee has just like rapid shoots of pain through it. And it's super, super distracting.
And this just randomly happened like right after that kind of like broadcast you were doing. Just like it all of a sudden just came to like fruition. Just boom, here you go.
Yeah, just like
you had never really experienced much before that, like when pain wise?
Nah, bro. Wow. I had it so good, and I was always thinking to myself, like I've done some pretty silly shit in my time, being a bit reckless, and I was just waiting for that day where maybe I'm just like not gonna be like this. I had no baggage, bro, in a sense, and I was just like, shit, I'm almost owed some. Like I almost called it, but. Yeah, it's not going to be a forever thing. It's just a shame the timing of it, that I had to deal with it now than any other time. But that's life, you can't see this stuff coming, as you said. It is what it is,
I was just gonna say, like, one of the nice things, like, again, like the silver lining I'm trying to find is just like it gives you so much more empathy for people that are dealing with the same shit or just are going through their own struggles. Like, I mean,
that's right. I mean, like everyone's dealing with shit, and it might not look the same to you. So it's best to just assume, that, it's when you see videos of or hear stories of people who might be behind you in a car and beeping and tailgating, and you might think, oh, they're just being an asshole. Like, I'm gonna like brake check them or just not move out of the way. But their wife could be in the front seat, and they need to get to a hospital immediately because she's pregnant. You know,
Yep.
it's having, I guess, that respect and giving that people the benefit of the doubt at all times. You know, if people are having hardships, to just be patient and to think, you know, they might be going through some stuff rather than how that's actually just impacting in, you know, in your moment. Unless you let someone in when you're merging and they don't acknowledge it, get right up their ass and
Yeah,
pull the fingers
fuck
as
them.
much as you. I
Fuck
cannot
them.
stand those people, bro. Oh, fuck off. There it is, F-bomb.
It's crazy because like that a little gesture of acknowledgement, that's it. It's not even like you have to go out of your way and make it like a huge thing. Oh my god, like thank you. It's like literally a little wave is huge. Just the
Massive.
acknowledgement, totally changes the mood. Like it'll make the person's day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It's like paying it forward. Have you seen the movie Pay It Forward?
I don't think so.
It's an
No.
oldie, but it's a good one. I think it's got the guy. What's the kid's name of? Anyway, Sixth Sense. I See Dead Bodies. What's his?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That actor's name, like the guy, like the
Yeah.
kid or the.
The kid. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't fucking
It's a
remember.
great. It's a
I
great
know
movie.
who you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's a heavy movie, but it serves a good metaphor anyway for life. But you know, like a smile's contagious, and so it's a good gesture, bro. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes life better too if you're just courteous. Like, goddamn.
Are there any good gestures in RuneScape that come to mind where you're like, my man? You know, like have you had any good gestures in Rune?
Like, well, streaming wise, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, when someone donates $1,000, you're like, that's a good gesture. I appreciate that.
no, I mean, I think one of the nicest things is like, I feel like for the most part in the gaming world, when you're anonymous, quote unquote anonymous, you know, just like doing your thing, it's really easy to be an asshole. And encountering somebody that's genuinely very pleasant and very courteous online is like amazing. It's just, damn, you did not have to do that. Like, this is not the culture here, and you're gonna do it anyway. Like, fucking respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the opposite every now and then for a bit of content.
Well, you got to do the opposite occasionally for the content, for the boys, you know.
That's right.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's nothing personal, you know. It's just content, bro.
Yeah, that's important.
I would go up to people at the it's the Mauritania herb patch. And
Yeah.
I'd sit there and I'd stand in front of the patch pretending to be a bit confused, and I'd sort of wait for my prey to run in over to the patch as well and pull up with some shears and a dibber and the tools, and I would always be like, hey bro, like I forgot my dibber. Do you mind if I quickly borrow yours? It's just my first patch of the run. I'll give it back. And then they would trade me their dibber, or sometimes they would ignore me and teleport off, and I'd look like an absolute loser in front of the screen. But that's okay. That's pretty standard.
Okay.
Let's say, yeah, they would trade me the dibber, and I'd accept it, and I'd wait a little while, and then I would elk it in front of them. And the idea was I had to try and give the GP back to them, right? And for them to accept it. And if that was the case, I didn't have to drink. And the other side of it was if they declined it, right, which was usually accompanied by some pretty savage text, then I'd have to drink. So that was like quite a fun little interaction with people, you know.
So what was the most obnoxious that somebody reacted, and what was the most pleasant? Let's hear it.
Oh,
do you remember? Do you know?
Yeah, no, I do. There was the pleasantry ones where people were, it's like, oh, that's all good, bro. Like, I got another one at the bank, and they'd quietly TP away, and, you know, you'd almost be gutted. You'd be like, all right, okay. And then I do remember this time, this one person, it was probably like 3 years ago, 4 years ago even. He goes, I hope, and then enter. So, like, there was a nice bit of suspense in there, and I was like, oh, this is good. And he goes, your mum dies in a fire.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and then he said, and if she's already dead, then you're dead. Yeah, so he hit me with the 2-0.
Jesus Christ.
He was having a bad day, bro.
Yeah, he was. He's having a worse one after that too. Yeah, damn. You were too, probably.
Yeah.
No, you were probably just fine, just drinking.
I loved it. No, it's fine. Everyone had a good laugh about it. But
what was the most pleasant? When
sometimes...
people were just happy. People were just like, oh, like thank you for the GP, and then just have to tell you.
No, it was like not happy about it, but I guess just like less pissed off.
Okay, just like taking it, just like they got owned, kind of. Just take the L.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. What kind of content are you running at the moment? You got a maxed Ironman. I've seen some of your guides and.
Yeah, no, I mean you do too. Your account is actually hella beast. I want to talk about yours as well. But recently, I mean, I've been kind of on that corp grind a little bit. I've just passed Ellie rate. I'm like 4,300 KC, and it's not like I mean, I always had to put this into perspective because I don't want to sound like too much of a crybaby. Because technically, getting technical here, you know, my nerdiness is showing. It would take around 7,000 kills to actually be dry, like to actually go average rate of the full log. That's including pet and all sigils and jar.
Yeah.
But so and I have 3 pets. That's painful, by the way. I have 3 pets, and I just got one like the other day. So it's just that message is cursed. Genuinely.
Hours for the people at home. How many hours is that, statistically speaking, to complete the log there at Corp?
Well, it's definitely changed. Like the metas have changed. It used to be about like 4 kills an hour in the very early days, back when you didn't have as good of gear and the method was just like spec it down a bunch. And then with good gear, it was still the same method, but it was around like 6.5 kills per hour if you had like max gear and you were gonna sweat. And now it's 10 kills an hour, which is pretty crazy. And you can even pump it up if you're going to be doing some suicide methods. But I say it's around 10. So 700 hours for full corp log is what the current thing is. But I've already been there for 700 hours because I was doing the slow shit earlier on. So by the time I get to 7,000, I'll probably be at like 10,000. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully I just get the Ellie in the next 1,000. But you never know. Did you see that guy Spuddy on Twitter that he got his Ellie at 20,000 kills?
I did
on
see
his
that.
iron.
Yeah, that was disgusting. I actually felt a little bit ill looking at that.
Yeah, it's just like, damn, that can happen. Like he was not anticipating that. You know, he got to 4,000 KC and he's like, oh, you know, it's probably just right around the corner. And then no, 16,000 kills. Like that is the fear that I have. So when you're asking, you know, what are you doing on your Ironman? That's part of it, but I can't fully go in on the corp grind because there's that fear of just I could spend a couple years here and not get anything else done.
You don't want to know how dry I went for my Ellie.
Well, let's hear it.
My first one was 250 KC at Corp.
Fucking A, man.
And my second one was 350.
But you and Defy, man, I swear to God.
Gross, eh?
So do you have all sigils?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, what's your total?
I finished it at 1,000.
Wow. Do you have pet?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm not massive on pets. Like, it is a nice bonus, but I don't phone home about pets.
Yeah, same. I'm not a huge like pet enthusiast. It's still, I mean, how many do you have right now total?
Oof, maybe like 10. Oh, does that include my lazy cats?
No. How many would it be if you included them?
About 35. No. No, I got about, I think maybe 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm up there. I have 32. But,
wow.
Yeah. They've all pretty much just come from playing a lot, you know?
Jesus. How many hours have you racked up?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, I do. That's why I asked.
Let's just have you take a guess at my days played. It's right here for those watching on YouTube.
Okay. Are you gaming right now as well?
Yeah. I'm cooking monkfish.
Oh, respect.
Yeah. Are you?
I was gonna ask that. Now I'm very reclined back in the chair.
That's respect.
Like
respect for being so respectful on my cast. Yeah. Thank you for not playing.
I got you. Meanwhile, Evescape's probably got like 16 clients and he's doing his Firecape series while he's on his podcast with you.
I don't actually think he was gaming when I had him on. I had him on twice now.
Good man.
I don't know. He was pretty engaged in his poop stories where he shat his whole house. So I don't know if he was playing during that. Anyway.
Wait, is this Evescape or Skidler?
Evescape shat his own house. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, definitely could be either, really.
Yeah, it could have been. No, Skidler. I mean, maybe that had happened, but he didn't disclose it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think because I'm about 450 hours on mine.
Okay.
I reckon you've racked up a bit more than me. Oh no, 450 hours, 450 days.
Yeah.
I reckon you're at, I'm gonna say 600.
815. Yeah. 815. That's over 2 years logged in. That's 2 years
alert.
and 2 years and 100 days logged in.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and that is only since mid 2017. So I'm getting, well, I guess it's like kind of like around April, May-ish. So in the next few months, it'll have been 7 years total. Since
in school,
yeah.
Obviously, how long have you been playing for?
Well, I started RuneScape in 2004 when I was in 4th grade. My friend introduced it to me, and I played for like 3 years. And then as soon as they got rid of the wilderness and free trade, I was out. I was like, "Fuck you guys, you ruined this game." And I didn't play for 8 years. Then I came back in 2015 on old school.
So, were you like, what was your school's sort of stigma with RuneScape? You know, like,
Okay.
you have friends that played it at school.
Yeah.
You guys talk about it.
So my school friend got me introduced to it, but it wasn't really big. Like, you didn't really talk about RuneScape. And keep in mind, I only played like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And after 6th grade, you know, that's where you start getting bullied for shit, is like when you enter middle school here. Before that, you're just like, your brain's not developed. Like, it's just, you know, you're just a fucking kid. You're just running around. But that's when I started getting into more popular games. So like Guitar Hero, Call of Duty, and those were really popular to just be into. So I had that good. I had a little Minecraft era for like one summer, and then I fully burnt out. But like, and that would have been considered kind of nerdy at the time. But it's hard to say. If I had been playing RuneScape in high school, I wouldn't have said a fucking word about it. I would have been hella embarrassed. I'd be like, no, like, I'm not talking about this, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Was it popular?
Oh, like, you didn't know because you're spot on. Like, no one talked about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, I had friends, and we started our little kind of like Rooney group. And then I remember one day at lunch, you know, we were having a little chat, and it was like a cult meeting. Like, we're in the darkest corner of the room, kind of like, you know, when no one can see it, hoodies up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people didn't know about this shit. And then one guy, now a friend, overheard, goes, "Oh, you guys play RuneScape?" And I was like, "Bro, shut up. Chill, bro. Don't say that. You can't shout that shit out loud." It's like social suicide back then, you know? Like,
No, I mean,
you couldn't have people find out.
just the like the way it sounds, RuneScape. It's like a dagger being stabbed in you. Just like, shut the fuck up. Like, don't say that. Like, that is like nerd alert. Like, nerd alert. Yeah. That's like literally yelling that.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I just need to say this one story, but I've shared this maybe once or twice on the cast. It's short, but in college, I was playing RuneScape at this time. This is when I was like getting into it. It wasn't even this account. It was like my previous main back in like 2016 or something. And I went over to a girl's like apartment complex. There was like 4 or 5 girls over there, and I went with like 2 of my friends, and friends. But one of them was one of them came out, and he's like, just like the worst wingman of all time. You know, like, we're all there trying to like, you know, just, you know, hang out with these chicks. And he decides to just declare to all the girls there that I play a lot of RuneScape, you know, when I'm at my apartment. And he's just like talking about it. He's just like, yeah, like, Sater loves this game, like RuneScape, like, it's just like killing dragons and stuff. And I'm like, bruh, like, I looked at him and I'm like, holy shit, like, you're the worst. Like, you're the literal worst. And they're like asking about, they're like, what? Like, what's that? And of course, when there's a lot of girls, there's a lot of like different energy going on. They don't know what it is. So they're like trying to ask me about it. And I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, why did you do this to me? Like, what am I supposed to explain? Like, it's just the worst. So yeah, that was some shitty move. But
what a stitch up, man. And then all the chicks, they talk, bro, after that too. They're like,
I didn't
know Sater was such a nerd, like slaying dragons. And then I don't know, you might have like one like hot goth chick in the corner be like, I don't know. I think it's kind of hot.
Yeah, but they would never say it, and I'd be too shy to ever approach them, so it's just doomed from the get-go. Yeah.
So did you shadow ban your mate after that? Like, like you stopped hanging out with him or what? Are you in the cut?
No, I would still hang out with them because we lived together. But oh my God, yeah, I would just find ways to just like you're just throwing jabs at him basically for the rest of the semester. Just like, fuck you, like, piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he set you up. It's only fair, bro. You got to get even a little bit. And how did he do with the ladies? Like in that sort of situation, did he get himself ahead a little bit or what?
Probably, because when you're an asshole, you do whatever you want. You don't have any respect for your homies. So like, like he probably got some good action, yeah, for sure. But
yeah,
I don't care.
One of the lines you could have used, in hindsight, was you got to slay a few dragons to get to the princess, and then just make eye contact with the hottest one in the group.
No, the energy in that room was just, it's hard to explain, but the energy in the room was, I mean, as soon as he said the word RuneScape, I was just pitting out, like just armpit sweating, just feeling like hella anxious, like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like fucking explain this. Because the thing is, and I have to also clarify this, like nowadays, I wouldn't mind talking about RuneScape. I mean, I'm a goddamn, like, I'm turning 29 this year. Like, I don't care. I don't care what people know about me anymore. I'm pretty transparent about a lot of things. But back then, I was ashamed that I played it because I would I thought by me playing it, it was just like ruining my life because that's what I had just been told. Like, if you're playing video games, not like really focusing on your schooling, then like, you're just a failure. Yeah. And I really internalized that. So it was like a vice. It was like I treated it as a vice. Like like daily, I'd be like, I should really stop playing this, But I'd still play it all day, and then I'd be like, I should really stop. And so
you I mean, it's I always thought that if you kind of take the piss out of it a little bit, I always refer to Rooney or RuneScape as Rooney in front of my like non-gamer friends. Mm-hmm. And that way you kind of soften the blow because it sounds like you're taking the mickey out of it a little bit. And you have a little giggle, but I'm absolutely with you. You got to be, you're too old to not stand tall about what's already a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And if it's a video game, like who fucking cares?
Exactly.
Who fucking cares? And to the boys out there, that are currently going on dates, with ladies and you're a little bit scared, to mention the fact that you play Rooney. Bro, do it. Be proud of it, but be transparent because you're going to have to get to it at some stage anyway. And if they're turned off by it, then they're not the one for you. You know what I mean?
Totally. So, are you in a relationship?
I am. Yes, I am doing long distance at the moment.
Okay.
It's a wee bit tough. She's over in London, and I'm planning to move over there at the moment. But I have got to finish up my treatment with my reactive arthritis.
Yeah.
Before I go over, so puts a bit of pressure on things. But no, she likes the fact that I game and that I stream and things like that. Her username is CultLeader69. Big shout out to my my girl, Jazzy Chill out there. She's good fun, man. She's
that's cool. And she plays.
She's had an account on mobile, but I don't think she's really immersed herself in the great world that is Gillenor just yet.
Yet. Yeah. Do you think it's even possible to immerse at this like point in your life if you didn't already immerse as a child? It's hard.
I think you could, but I just I'd almost feel sorry for people in the sense that they just didn't have that experience that we had as kids, bro. Like I've never felt such that I can't even put it into words, just how magical the experience was as a kid, bro.
Dude, totally.
And it was very cold, like, and saying that, I had times where everyone was on dial-up back then, the ringtone that would stop you from being able to play on a school night at midnight because your parents would fucking wake up, right? And get off the computer, go to bed.
Yep.
And you'd be at Hill Giant slinging some iron arrows, frothing over iron full helms and kites, and all of a sudden, you lose connection, and then the phone line rings.
Yep.
And God, you're like, God, whoever it is, I hate you already. You pick it up, and it's like your mum's friends or something. It's like, hi, dog. is Caroline there? And I'd be like, oh, she's she's just out playing bridge at the moment. Can I get you to leave a message? And she's like, yeah, just let her know that Tiffany called. Just wanted to see how day was going. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Hang up the phone, and then your mum would be like, who was that?
Bro, I was that guy that would bring
Oh, wrong number.
Dude, I would bring the phone over to the computer and I would just instant click end because like as you said, like you could see like as soon as the connection starts failing, a phone call is about to come. Like you can literally anticipate it. So I'd just sit there and literally just have my finger on end and just click it because we only had one home phone at the time. Eventually we got two home phones and that was you couldn't like it was gonna ring regardless. So just kind of fucked up. But yeah, I would just end the call and yeah, I was that kid. And I was petrified to answer the phone when I was a child. Like, I never wanted to talk to an adult on the phone. Hated
Unless
that.
it was to do with the Jagex membership hotline or something.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
No, but if it was like one of my mom's friends or something, like, oh my God, like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to even, like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know if I'm going to be asked something, like, hard, Like, that's the fear I would have as a kid, answering the phone. Or even if it was like a, like a I don't know, like a scam. I guess were telemarketers scammers back? I feel like nowadays every single thing is a scam. But I feel like when I was a kid, at least, I saw it as like people legitimately trying to sell you something valuable, like that you would find worthwhile. Nowadays, like I don't know if you get a bunch of spam phone calls like daily, but all of it's garbage. Like it's all garbage. I'm trying to remember if it was all garbage back then. Because you'd get a real human on the phone that would ask you about stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's I fear for my nan, bro. Like she has Instagram. She's probably ahead of most, but like I've had to ask friends groups like lately. It's just like a scam. I've been selling some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and people asking for an email so they can arrange like a shipping, but apparently they're just using like a phishing website to get access like to your credit card or something like that as well. And it looks so legit. I saw a whole bunch of dead links and things like that, and yeah, like if that went in front of my olds, mate, no hope. Like people are getting pretty crafty now, eh?
Have you ever been scammed on RuneScape?
Oh, bro.
Like, so you've had your experiences.
We could do this for literally 3 hours. I could tell you how many times I've been scammed, bro. Like, and it's gone like both ways. Like that's how you have to get ahead too.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I got asked to be in a PKing video, and I was like, bro, I've waited this moment my whole life. And this guy goes, I'll pay you 600K. I was like, sick. And he's like, oh, we got to hurry up though because my mum's coming home soon. I was like, cool. So we're heading out to the wilderness ditch, and he'd convinced me to bring a whip. And when he did fly that past me, I was like, okay, look, I know what's gonna happen. Like you're gonna make me skull, and you're gonna take me for it. And he goes, nah, I don't want you to skull or anything like that. That's cool. I was like, okay, sweet. Like there's no way I could lose my whip. So he's small chatting me, asking where I'm from, how old I'm, like, am I at school, like all this kind of stuff. Fully grooming me. No. We jump over the ditch, and he starts laying some DDS specs into me. And me being quite the actor, I'm going for a bloody, performance. I'm going for an Oscar here. Yeah. I'm like, oh, please stop. Like, let me live, I'm begging for my life, I'm really playing my part. Yep. And he gets me down to like 10 HP, and he's like, oh, shit, mum's home. He's like, here, take this payment. And he traded me 4 Dragon Battle Axes. And that's a lot of money back then. Like, instinctively, all you do is hit accept. And then he DDS spec'd me out. And I respawned in Falador, and I'm running to the bank, and I'm quite chuffed with the interaction. Like, I'm in a PK video now. 2, I'm 600K richer. I'm running to the bank, and my mate, who's sitting beside me, we used to do like 30 minutes each back then after school. It's good fun. He goes, bro, your whip is not there. Where's your whip? And I was looking through my worn inventory and my inventory, and it was gone. And then I realized the 4 Dragon Battle Axes had protected over the whip. So classically, that's like the whole Mystic Robe Top scam.
Yep.
And, I saw that as a lesson. I wasn't going to get down about it. And then over the next 3 weeks, I reckon I probably scammed about 20 to 30 whips myself. And
Holy
I started
shit.
I saw that as I paid the price for a seminar on that one.
Yeah.
And adopted the mum's coming home soon strategy. And I ended up using my spoils, and I bought a green Halloween mask back then.
Wow.
For like 30 mil or something like that. And I was like very, very chuffed with myself. And I had an internet girlfriend that I'd been dating for 2 months.
Was it actually a girl, do you suspect?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, by 100%, absolutely not. It was totally good.
I was gonna say,
but girl equals guy in real life.
Yep.
That's the acronym, right?
Yeah.
And she we were doing a trust trade at the Duel Arena, and she gave me like her Ranger set and 10 mil worth of gear with like a Fury, and trust traded it to me. I was like, oh my god, like I've found the one. Like this is my absolute girl. Like we're gonna meet up. It's gonna be a massive success story for online dating. And then she's like, oh, would you trust trade me your green Halloween mask? And that is the last I seen of that, bro. So
no, oh my god, dude, it's making my heart drop, man, just sinking.
Karma just came back around and bit me in the ass.
The thing is, it's not just losing your green Halloween mask. It's literally love. Like you've lost the love of your life as well. Like on top of it, it's just
spot on.
Everything just crumbles.
Broke my heart. We were gonna go to Zaya together, at some point in the future, and never seen her again. UIUUIX. If you're out there, yeah. I'm not single.
In game,
I'm single on the game.
Yeah.
In game. Yeah. I need
my
my Halloween mask back. Anyway, that was definitely one of the more formidable scams.
So here's the question though. So you learned from the seminar the first time. Did you learn from that seminar what to do?
Yeah, maybe have like face-to-face interaction on Skype or something. At the same time you're doing a trust trade. Because people aren't who they say they are.
No. I'm saying like, were you now the e-girl, the guy in real life? That's what I'm asking. Did you end up
double down?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go that far. That
was past your morals. Yeah, no, for sure.
That's a bit odd.
Even as a kid, you have to, you just, it's one of those things like, are you going to cross this line? Because as soon as you cross this, you're in foreign territory. Like you'll do anything at this point for GP. Like what else are you going to do, after pretending you're a girl? Like what else are you going to do?
100%.
So you got to draw your lines in the sand, and that's probably just that. I mean, I'm impressed that was a scam so long ago, the 4 Dragon Battle Axes, because that was the same shit that was happening in Rev Caves back just a few years ago.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
do you remember? Because people, as soon as the Rev weapons came out, I'm pretty sure, was that it? I think it was the Rev weapons came out, and then what people would do is drop like 4 noted dragon plate skirts or something like that, and the Rev weapons obviously wouldn't protect over it, so people would like have a Rev weapon scold out there, and then somebody would just drop 4 dragon plate legs, and the first thing you're thinking is like, oh my god, like Rev loot, let's just pick this up. And then you'd have a team of macers just come in and just insta kill you, and then they'd get your like 400 mil crossbow, because that's back when they were like really expensive.
That's why they changed it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
bro.
And I thought that was genius. I was like, holy shit, like that's some crazy stuff. But I guess that's an old tactic.
That is, I mean, yeah, that is age old. But at the same time, it's, I guess, pivoting it so that it works in like different, I guess, climates. That's so smart. But honestly, some of the scams people come up with on RuneScape, like the FBI should be plucking some of these players out to work in fraud protection and shit. I swear to God, pretty smart.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I've had my fair share of experiences getting scammed as a kid, and I mean, it was so emotionally taxing on me as a child getting scammed for the first few times.
You cry?
Oh yeah, I'd be bawling my eyes out, dude. I'd just be slamming the computer, and just my dad would take me to my room. I have to be in my room, and I'm just like throwing shit, just so butthurt, and I can't.
You don't even know.
I can't do anything about it. Yeah, it's just like, and my fucking boomer parents are just having a laugh, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, like just reload your save." Like, what? That's not how it fucking works.
You can't pause the game, Mom.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, dinner's gonna be cold tonight.
I had definitely some trauma built up from all that. So it really taught me, because I mean, you're talking about, you know, people getting scammed in real life nowadays. Like, I am so skeptical of everything. Like, and when I was in my early 20s, I actually was doing door-to-door sales with a sales team. And that's the same sort of shady shit that you're kind of getting yourself into. I did it because my older brother, like sort of got me into it. Got me kind of like into the whole thing in Las Vegas. And I was going door to door selling. Yeah. And he made like, you know, 40, 50 grand in a couple months from doing this. Okay. So I was like, okay, like clearly this can't be that big of a scam. My real life brother just made a bunch of money, you know? And then you start really reading the details of kind of what you're doing. And it's just not a product you can actually believe in. Like, there's a lot of shady details that are going on.
Right.
And
what was the product?
I mean, it was solar. It was, so I would, so I wasn't selling solar panels. I was selling a utility bill basically. And so they were going to be renting solar panels. So they don't pay a dime. And they're just going to be paying lower rent each month. Like, that's the whole idea behind it. So you just go there, sell them solar panels for a 20-year agreement. And then they have to have solar panels on their home for the next 20 years, and they're going to just pay less. But then you start actually looking at what this is going to do. And like, you cannot guarantee that in 20 years, there's not some other sort of technology, some other like more powerful solar panels, or just whatever. So you're locked into this 20-year thing. And over time, you know, that we would, if you actually looked at it, like over time, you'd be losing, like you're kind of at a loss, sort of like the customer's actually getting scammed somewhat. Now, there probably were some cases where they wouldn't get scammed, but a lot of cases it seemed like this isn't a good idea. But the way to sell it was to not disclose that, you know, just don't talk about it. And it's just not like, I'm just there and I'm like, bro, like I'm literally in the thick of what I hate right now, of like not being fully honest with people.
And that drove you to stop doing that, obviously?
Yeah, just quit.
Yeah.
And
man.
it's just one of those, and it's so easy to get into that. And then you kind of you just slowly chip away your morals, where you just see people as money. You know, you go to somebody's place and you're like, I could make money off of, you know, them. And it's just a shitty way. I don't know. I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Yeah, that's not very purposeful, is it? I think having a moral purpose and a compass obviously is always good, but and the work you do as well, I think, you know, if you can have some sort of livelihood that, you know, positively and honestly impacts other people's lives, you know, as cliche it is to sound, even if it's one person, I think that's good.
Yeah, no, that's a way. I mean, some people, I feel like people are different. Like, their brains just function differently. In my head, like, I would lose nonstop sleep over actively scamming people as an occupation. It's just not like, you're really going to spend your one life just like fucking people over. Like, what kind of life is that? Like, really? Like, and I see people, like, I don't know if you saw that fucking tweet from Curtis on Twitter, where he posted like the fake Bodhi live stream, and the dude had his face cam up. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but that's good.
Bro, okay, I need to link this to you. It's just fucking hilarious. I mean, okay, well, I have the picture anyway. I think I tweeted one, so I tweeted like a different variant, but here's mine. This was, I mean, there was more to it. It was showing like other streams alongside of it, but like 3.3K viewers, just like, my last OSR stream, read below, Bodhi_H6Z. Just literally full face cam of the scammer.
Do you reckon he knew that was happening? He looks like a bit of a scammer, not just stereotype.
He does. I know.
So dodgy, bro.
So dodgy. Like, looks like he's just living in his basement, just like, sweet RS gold from these noobs.
100% goes down a flight of stairs to get to his room.
No, straight up like that.
That's definitely the guy. That is the guy who does all the fake streams.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's probably a few others, but like, that dude's probably been running this shit for a few years, and he accidentally, I'm just wondering, why the hell did he even have a face cam attached to his like OBS, whatever he's running to stream his Twitch?
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of, like, that has got to be so embarrassing to realize that in the moment. Like, oh my God, like, my face is on here.
He's got like the most neutral gaming face on him too. Like he's obviously he's chopping some U's or something at the moment. You know, he
Yeah.
seems
Oh
to be
yeah.
rather enjoying himself.
Or just actively seeing who's getting scammed. You know, probably has like an email list of people all like putting in their login details. And he's just like, oh, nice. Let's see this guy's
That's
bank.
right.
Oh, 12 mil, you know, easy 12 mil. Like, how could you, like, I'm sorry, that's a shitty way to live.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I mean, he's probably fully content, I'd imagine. I mean, maybe. I don't know what he's thinking in his head, but like, bruh, like, I could not do that. I couldn't live a healthy life that way. That would just be horrible mentally.
It would be interesting to see how people get there, like a timeline of what caused someone to get to that sort of state where they just abandon all morals and they literally just don't care.
Well, they don't. There's probably a lot of coping going on. It's probably them thinking, "Oh, it's just RuneScape. It's just RuneScape." You know. So most people, at least what I believe, is like most people think they're not the bad guy. Like they think they have morals. Like they think they're fine. Like they'll find some avenue of, you know, rationalizing what they're doing. And I think for him, if that is the case, who knows? Maybe he's just like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. But like, I'd imagine he's like, yeah, it's just RuneScape at the end of the day. Like, who cares? You know, it's just temporary. I'm just scamming some people. But you know, this is a learning lesson for them. That's probably what he's imagining too. Like, I'm teaching them. You know, like, don't fall for real life scams. You know, you could pretty much, say anything and you get somewhere.
Or maybe he's just, you know, experienced a lot of like, you know, unjust sort of pain, and some people have just been dicks to him that he just feels like it's only right he returns the favor.
Oh, that's 100% as well. That's undeniable. That's got to happen. You don't get there without that, without getting hurt yourself, you know. Like 100% he's been scammed. Like there is not a doubt in my mind that he's also been scammed.
100%.
So, it is interesting though because just along that line, like, yeah, it's interesting when you just understand that everyone was a baby at some point. Like everybody has lived a life, and like you don't just like you go through shit, and that's who you end up becoming. So like you got to have like empathy for people. Like that guy probably doesn't have a great life. I mean, who knows? Because if he had more fortunate circumstances, there's no way he would have just been making fake Bodhi streams, you know.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. So let me talk about what we kind of went on some tangents. Let me talk about what you've been up to in RuneScape, because and also recently, I mean, I saw one of the tweets talking about like your Nex grind. I know you've spent a fair amount of time at Nex and some other places, most likely. Let's just talk about like I guess the last couple of years of your Ironman, or maybe just your whole Ironman journey. I don't know. Like you have a beast account. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, good sir. Well, it all started like any Ironman journey started, and that is when you lose big at the Sand Casino.
Yep.
The Sand Casino really was the catalyst, I think, for Ironman Mode, because I don't know if you know, but you know, you probably know someone that's gone there, lost bank, and gone, well, I'm demotivated to play this account. Oh, okay. Well, if I'm going to start again, essentially, why not just play an Ironman? And so that's kind of what happened. I kind of got a little bit bored of playing the meta and what gave you the most money as a moneymaker. And I think the sense of progression on an Ironman where every drop means something is just a better gaming experience, as opposed to just, you know, buying everything you need as you play the game. I mean, that's me personally. That's just an opinion. So yeah, the account's what? I think 2018 is when I started, January. So it's 2024. Run the numbers, carry the 2, 6 years.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, 6 years old.
Now I feel bad because you have half of my playtime. And I've been.
I also got pretty lucky. I got spooned a lot of things like early on, like finished like Sire in one task. Service in one task. Yeah, it was. I had some crazy
What about like the big boys, like raids and stuff?
Yeah, nah. Well, that was where I my luck ended. I went 1250 for a Lambo staff, the old Sanguinesti at top.
Okay. That could be
So
me.
that,
I'm still missing a Sanguinesi, believe it or not. I'm like
oh,
1100 or something total.
oh wow.
KC.
Okay. Um, what do I CMs? Yeah, chambers and stuff. I got a T-Bow at 200 KC actually, so I can't talk. That was pretty lucky, but CMs were a pretty yeah. They were a bit of a disaster. It took a while to get some drops there, and then TOA was actually under. I got a staff recently. Actually, that was very recent. The old lamppost. That was 18 out of 24 uniques on the drop rate.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah. So no, raids have actually been pretty good. Now that I think about it, probably Tob was just the outlier.
Yeah, that's me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Tob's a great raid though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I went 915 for my first top weapon. So like grinding 915 times with just Assure and Hilts continually was really painful. It made me like I still was hella addicted to the grind. Like there was something so addicting about just running 416s even off stream. I'm just like, dude, I'm just doing this. Like I need to get this shit. But yeah, I had a really good time with Tob, but it would have definitely been a lot more fun if I had gotten like an early scythe and got to use it and just get way more purples, get way more MVPs. But yeah, I'm like 1100 now. It just missing that Sanguinesti and the kits and the dust and stuff. And you said you got a 200 KC Tebow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 20 KC Tebow. So
shave a zero off. Disgusting.
I know. It was my first purple, dude. It was my first. Like that is. It's just like I've said this so much on my stream and stuff. Like people are like, "Oh man, like what is like the best feeling you've had in this game? Like what is the best drop? Like what is the best feeling?" And it's never Tebow because it was just. I mean, it was an amazing feeling. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I've never seen my Tebow. Like I take it fully for granted. It's just like, oh, this is just has been on my account for years. It's just like I never had to work for it.
Yeah, so. It's what I say to people as well is like if you're going super dry on an item, it's although like you risk burning out, at the same time the longer the grind, like, I feel like the bigger the trump, right? Like it's way much more sense of accomplishment and relief when you actually finally get the drop.
Yep.
As opposed to getting spooned, you know, it's so different. Like when I got the Sanguinesi staff at like 1250, I was just thinking like this is literally why we do it. It's like these little, 1 minute sprees, these highs of just so much dopamine intake. It's just unfair. It's enough dopamine to power a small city in the States for a week,
for a brief few seconds.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I was also listening to a podcast the other day, and I don't know if you listened to Diary of a CEO.
No, I think I've heard of it though.
Yeah, with Stephen Bartlett. But one of the guys in there basically outlined why like slot machines are very addictive, and I thought the comparison to actual RuneScape bosses was uncanny. Like if you think about it, a RuneScape boss is essentially a slot machine.
Yeah.
It's quick, repeatable, low input, like high reward. Slot machines in a way, and I genuinely feel like that is not to put a gambling connotation on the game, but like that is why this game is so addictive, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. I always wonder like I don't know how to really distinguish between gambling and just killing bosses repeatedly, because at the end of the day, I don't know, there is a difference. I think like gambling, just I feel like in the long run you're losing. I feel like that's like the distinction I can make. I'm trying to like I don't know how to word it any better, but like, and I've never been a real gambler. I'm really against gambling, by the way. Like I hate it. I hate it. And I've seen it like ruin people's lives that I know. Just like inevitably makes you a shittier person. It just does. If you get hooked into that and you get in that gambling world, like you will lie and not feel any remorse about it at some point. Like you just lie and just, cheat and cheat and cheat. And it's like you become that person that'll just do anything to get your next gambling fix. And it's really sad. But I think the distinction is just like, I don't know. I just feel like you could put like hours on the grind instead, rather than like a slot machine. It's not like, okay, this is a 1 in 50 hours or whatever. Like you're gonna get this eventually, and you're gonna end up being happy. Like slot machine is like, the more you do this, the more money you're gonna lose on in the long run. I don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
No, you're totally right, and that's why I said I don't want to like put that kind of like shadow on it, but more so just the mechanics of highlighting like why I think like
The dopamine receptors are just super.
That's right.
They love it.
But it's a more engaging way, I guess, of pulling the lever. But I mean, added to that, you've got community, you've got culture, and you've got friends, hopefully that sort of play the game and stuff alongside you. So
yeah, what would this game be without the community?
dangerous.
Like if it was
100%.
like, nobody would be playing this if it was a single player game. Can you imagine that? Like single player and like there's no community really back in it. It's just like you just play it. Like what the
Do
hell?
you reckon? I mean, at the same time, I think I have started seeing like a bit of a trend. Maybe I'm on Reddit too much of just people who honestly despise having to play with friends.
Well,
It's kind of sad.
No. There's a difference between wanting to play solo and like, because I like to play solo. I still like to play with people, but inevitably there's just so many things I just do solo and I enjoy it. But it's the fact that I can flex. It's the fact that like and this is so weird because I don't think about this. I think it's all kind of like the subconscious thing of realizing like the more I progress in this game, I'm getting like validation from people. Like if there was this is hard to like imagine, but if there was absolutely no community involvement and I could not share anything that I'm doing on this game with anybody, this would be horrible. Like I just wouldn't enjoy this.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm almost certain I would not enjoy playing this if I couldn't at least share slightly with people or be in a clan even. If it was purely single player, just no external communication or internal communication with anybody about my achievements or anything, I mean, maybe I'd play it for a little bit, but there's no way I'd take this game seriously ever.
Yeah, I guess it is an absolute combination. I guess everyone's got their own reasons for playing the game. And no, you're spot on. Like, I have a tab in my bank called Fashion. And every time I take it out, and you go to a maxing party, it's absolutely with the intent that you want to come with like some really cool notable items to impress other people.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like a lot of people who probably, we didn't get validation elsewhere in our lives before we started playing RuneScape. We found that it didn't matter who we were in real life, if we weren't meeting those sort of parallels, that we could just put our time and effort into RuneScape and you still meet those. So it's just still the same feeling.
Yeah, it is the same feeling. It is.
Yeah, RuneScape made that so accessible. And actually, I think a lot of people, like parents and our olds and stuff, would paint that in a negative light and that it's unhealthy. But I think it's really healthy that you can have access to that as a human, whether it's online or offline. That validation, and parts of it can be unhealthy, I think, if relied upon as well. But it's nice to know that some people like thinking of you or propping you up and paying you some compliments and stuff. As humans, I think we're geared that way now with social media and things like that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's almost it's almost a necessity. It's a slippery slope, but
yeah, no, for sure. Like there's separate argument entirely of like living a healthy life and not spending every waking moment grinding a video game and not. I've been there.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's, I definitely, I feel like I've kind of like described it very like black and white. Like that is the absolute only reason why I would play this. It's not really the case, but I think like philosophically, going really deep into like my brain, I feel like so much of it really is because I get to share my achievements. I get to do something and then people acknowledge it. Getting a 99, it's like, okay, well now there's perks because you have skill cape perks, you have the max cape and stuff. But like before that, even after, it's like you don't really have to do that, but you're gonna get that acknowledgement, like you're a max caper, and again, that's not like on the forefront of my mind. I think it's subconscious. It's just like, yeah, this is driving this addiction in this game. Like this is driving my grind mentality. Like knowing I'm gonna get some acknowledgement.
100%.
So
yeah, I'm at a dangerous like point too where it's not like a brag, but like I've acquired a few items now over my 6 years to a point where like I've basically got every core item apart from a few, and I've got this sort of this addiction to trying to get every core item.
yeah.
And every time I get super close, they're like, here's an update. And I'm like, oh, okay, look, I'll just do that one and then I'll chill. I'll leave it there, bro. But every time I get so close, like an update comes out, and they just keep you on the line so well. They keep you on the line so well with bringing out new content.
So what are you missing?
I'm missing the buckler from Cox.
Okay.
And I still need 3 out of 4 rings from Desert Treasure 2.
Do you have the axe?
I don't have the axe, but when I say core items, I mean things that aren't fucking useless.
I see.
Yeah. In terms of like...
Would you consider Inquisitors useless?
At the moment, yes. So it's on my secondary list. So I have I need to get the Inquisitor plate skirt still. I've got the top and bottom. And then it's just the hard mode top cosmetics, and that's it. Like I basically have every item, apart from the axe. But until that gets a buff, I'm not going to worry about it. So
I mean, I have a lot of stuff. The only things I'm missing currently, that even like considered secondary items, is like Ellie. Ellie's huge. It's not necessary. I would even throw that in secondary almost, but it's still such an iconic item. I need it. I need the Ellie, which just could be so long. I need the Eldritch. That's the only thing I'm missing from Nightmare. And then I need a Sanguinesti, Armadillo Hilt, surprisingly. That's the only thing I need from God Wars.
Okay.
And then Skeletal Visage. And there's one more thing. I can't think of it right now. But there's just one last thing that I'm missing, and that's really like, and then of course there's a bunch of kits and a bunch of dust and a bunch of other bullshit and pets and all that. But like actual items, including secondary stuff, that's really useless. I'm getting really, really close. But like you said, like there's always a new thing that comes out.
Yeah.
Virtus. Virtus was the last thing. I don't have any Virtus. I have all the rings and axe, no Virtus.
That is weird.
It's crazy.
Super unusual, yeah.
It's like 4x
what was your
rate.
Whisperer KC? Yeah. What was your Whisperer KC?
Let me look it up.
Did you get it early?
Let's see. So Whisper, I got the Siren's Staff and Bellatrix. I think I completed them at 420 or something. Both the Axe and the Vestige. And I mean, I spooned everything, just barely. It was like everything was like right below rate on all 4 bosses, and I got Leviathan.
What did you think of the introducing the drop mechanic with the rings?
Ooh, that's a good question. I want to hear your opinion too. Personally, I like that Jagex goes out on a limb and tries new things. I actually appreciate that. I kind of like that they're just trying something new. It's not game breaking. It's still relatively similar. I liked the idea that came up about, rather than an invisible drop, there's like maybe torches around the arena. So I'm thinking like Vardorvis has these torches, and as soon as you get an invisible roll, then like some torches would light up, and then you get a second invisible roll and more torches light up. And then all of a sudden, like the place is fucking lit with all these torches when you get really, really close to the actual drop. And so you're getting like really hype about like the drop is like, it's going to come any second now. The downside of that system, however, is like when the place is, there's no torches lit, it's like, fuck this boss, I hate this. But I think it would be cool to have like a more of a visual sort of interpretation. But for the most part, I'm actually kind of against these sort of systems. It depends. I'm not really against them. I just wish alongside them they also had a drop chance, a rarer chance of just getting the item at like 1 KC. I wish it was almost like 2 rolls. Like one is like, you know, the 3 rolls of, you know, roughly 1,000 KC for it. But then there's also like this rare roll of like 1 in 5,000 to just get the drop. So it's not like you're starting the boss and you just understand, like, I have to do multiple hundreds of kills just to get this, basically. Like, I hate that.
That was my quarrel with it. Like, I think the whole 1kc drop is iconic
It
to the
is.
RuneScape experience.
Totally.
It's absolutely iconic. And obviously the probability of you getting, you know, a 3kc drop effectively, let's say for the Desert Treasure 2 rings, because you got to get 3 components, is statistically pretty fucking unlikely, right?
Yeah.
I think if there was a way where they could still incorporate a 1kc drop, and then, yeah, like you said, like a one in, you know, make it way more rare than the standard, like, average that, you know, kills that you need for 3 components, but still, yeah, put in a singular, like, sort of outlier. I think that'd be cool.
One of the things I do like is that you could get the drop during the quest, or get a pet during the quest. Like, that, I love that. I love that you could literally just get spoon-fed on the actual, like, doing the 1kcs on the quest.
Yeah.
The other thing that's hella bothersome is the fact that none of these items are tradable. So you don't get that pink light. You don't get the pink text. You just get, like, some untradable, like, oh, you got this stupid vestige. Like,
You have to see it through, basically, eh?
yeah, I mean, it's that, but it's just like the drop doesn't feel as good when it's not pink lighted and just shooting up, like, oh my God, like freaking out. Because, I mean, when I got my Magus vestige, I didn't even know what it was for the first 3 seconds. I was like, is this like another tablet piece? Like, she's just like, I wasn't thinking. It just doesn't have that pop like every other boss has. Same with the axe pieces. It's like, oh, yay, this untradeable, worthless, untradeable item. Like, great. I just wish everything was tradable. So it just it's mainly for the light. I understand that it's gonna raise the prices of all these items because they're not, especially the axe. Like, the axe is definitely inflated because of the system they have.
Yeah. So with your text on the ground, speaking of the pink light, so you were loot beamer. Yeah.
Yep.
And do you bold your text or do you keep it lean?
I keep it lean.
Okay. Wait, you should try it out.
Okay.
Might not be for you, but if you bold the text, it's like, it just gives you a little bit more of a come on, you good thing, you know, a little more of a get up.
No, that's true. I think I'm partially like OCD. Like, I need everything looking the same. I need that uniform look.
Yeah.
And let me
no, so that's what you can do. So, like, it would just be all ground items are bolded. So that when when you get like the pink ones and they're bolded, it just like pops. It pops big time.
All my text is the same text as like my XP drops. So then I'd have to bold my XP drops and everything. I get even my text, like everything is the same uniform text. I think my OCD is just actually, you know what? I'm just realizing it. You know, like the top left corner where it like shows what you're about to do, like use bank chest. Like, that's actually bolded. That I don't like that now. Crap.
Oh no, what have I done?
Crap. Now I'm looking at that too much. Fuck. Something about Desert Treasure 2, and then we talked about something right after, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing content-wise. I'm just doing Desert Treasure 2 bosses. I'm currently on Vardavis.
What do you think? So what's your favorite? Have you tried all 4, I'm assuming?
Whisperer is good fun, bro. I like how chill it is. Leviathan is also really fun to engage, but it's quite intense. The Duke is... I like the fight. It's pretty chill. I'm very like, I don't like, if I log in to play RuneScape, I'm not logging in to play Call of Duty. Like, I don't want to give RuneScape my full undivided attention all the time. Like, it's nice to kind of have a mixture of being able to relax. And even with boss encounters, like, I'm a massive fan of some level of what's the word I'm looking?
Just like chillness.
Chill.
Yeah.
A bit of chillness. You got it. Yeah. So. Vardavis is anything but chill. Like, the boss is interesting. I like the mechanics of the axes and the little, intruder that pops up out of the ground and things. But the enrage phase kind of gets me sometimes because it can either be all on or it can be like real kickback. There's no consistency in that, and that kind of pisses me off sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Yeah, I think Whisperer, I absolutely hated initially. I hated it. I thought it was so boring. I think part of it was also it has to go with like the mechanics, how like I can't even expect a drop for the next like 300 kills basically. So that was annoying. Just like, oh my God, like this is going to take so fucking long. And the kills are slower. Luckily, I have a, like, if you don't have a shadow, I genuinely feel bad for like those listeners that don't have a shadow and they're killing Whisperer. Oh my God. Like,
just don't start it.
I know.
Don't do it, man.
That's seriously the problem when you come out with best in slot items that are just so busted compared to the second best. It's like you're going to have these massive gaps where it's like you're literally trolling if you don't have this now. I don't know.
And it's already one of the longest fights with the business slot weapon.
Which it's crazy. 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll get a 3-minute kill if like that RNG is horrible.
100%.
So, but Whisperer I actually really enjoy now. I'm totally with you. It's very chill. You just get into the zone with it. You're like, okay, like I'm good. Like this is feeling lax. And then the drop table's so good. It's so generous, man.
Yeah, like, pops. Like the battle stars.
Yeah.
You're like, rubbing your hands together. You're like,
dude, the first 150 kills I did, I swear I got 6 Dragon Plate Skirt drops of the 10.
They need to be noted, eh?
I know, it's ridiculous, but I'm not gonna lie, they look really nice when they're just like, just orange beam, just.
They are one of the best, still traditionally one of the best items that, you know, fall to the ground, I reckon, like look-wise, you know, like a set of dragon plate legs or a, you know, like a classic piece of dragon back in the day.
Actually, what is the best looking item on the ground? Something that, not so excluding raids items and stuff, because those are in chests.
I really enjoy a whip. I mean, like, when I say best looking, I mean, like,
that's what I'm looking for too.
A mixture of emotion to it as well, you know. It's a pretty solid item, even nowadays, and it's worth a lot. So, you know, you got a nice little orange beam, and it's just a good item. Looks good.
Yeah, for me, so I don't have any nostalgia attachment to any dropped items because I was so newbie as a child. So there's really none of that. I think so. All of this is really the attachment to my first Ironman playthrough on this account, where like I was getting stuff, and actually, I guess even before that. So one item that looks insane is a Draconic Visage. I've had 7.
Damn it! I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
What?
I've had 7 of them on old school. I've had 3 on this account. Yeah, I used to grind wyverns. That's what I did in college. Like I had a main account and I would just grind wyverns. I got 72 Slayer and just was like sent it, you know.
Shit. Yeah. They're extinct, I would assume.
Yeah, so they're already undead, you know, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Draconic Visage feels good. Unsired, I love Unsireds. Just something so nice about it. You probably don't even have that like whole thing. You spoon the place out of control, so I don't know, but
it was pretty gross.
Unsireds look good. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Like, okay, well, the best thing I've ever seen on the ground was, and this is very, very close to the Inquisitor's Mace, I'll say. Like, Inquisitor's Mace was something surreal, but something that was even more surreal was a crossbow. This was like early days of revs. Yeah. And believe it, I was actually the first Iron Man to fully complete revs, all pre-log, unfortunately. Nothing's in my log. But I was out there in the early days, like grinding that shit. And it took me 3 months to finally get a rev weapon.
Did you do the whole like pay for protection sort of ordeal?
This is
all. Did you fund the Venezuelans?
No, so this is all kind of when this was getting made. Like there really was no clan system back then. It was just like a few Iron Men out there. Like, you know, it was a solo venture, and you're like paying off a few groups here and there. Like, here, I'll give you 5 mil if you just like fuck off for the night. And then it started forming. But before I left, like there was no like 200 mil 2-week system or whatever the hell they did after that. I dipped as soon as I got my weapons. But that crossbow in pink text, it was a 3-month grind of degeneracy, pure degeneracy. I didn't even feel like I was playing RuneScape for 3 months. It was just like dealing with the mafia, like just dealing with shitheads in the wilderness, being an Iron Man. It's just like you are a literal victim for 3 months. It's just And the worst part is you can't just grind it all day. You have to find those peak hours where like there's not as many people out there. Yeah, it was brutal. And seeing that crossbow, that was the final rev. I got all 3 rev weapons within a 2-day span after 3 months.
Wow.
With no dupes, just boom, 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 right at the end of like 40k revs, and I just dipped, and I was like, oh my god, like that, it's over, it's done. Like, thank God. It was insane. So
you could come down from a high like that. Well,
oh yeah, dude, it felt good. It felt good.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best item. But yeah, like you said, whips feel pretty good. Draconic Visages, hell yeah.
Yeah.
How did that Ellie feel?
I was confused, honestly. I wasn't even excited. I
Oh
just looked at
yeah,
my screen. I was so confused.
so early. You're just not expecting. It's just not even on your mind, probably.
That's right. Like the first one, I was like pretty excited actually. Sorry, because you know, you're not expecting it. It's just such a rarity.
And that was your first sigil, correct?
That was my first sigil,
Okay.
and then I think my second sigil was a spectral, maybe. It was kind of gross. Which was maybe like 50 KC after. And then the second alley came at like 390 or something, and that was just utter. I was so confused. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my god. When did the arcane hit?
1,000.
Just like right on the dot, or just around there?
1,010.
Okay, that must have felt great.
Yeah, because I think that's when what raid was coming out. I think it was
Toa.
TOA was coming out. Yeah, and I was like, I know I'm gonna need that. And it was perfect because of the ward coming out. I was like, oh, yeah, that was a good day at the office. Yeah,
getting those. I mean, my arcane took me. So I had 2 spectrals. I was 3,400 KC with 2 spectrals at one point,
no.
And then I finally got my arcane around like 3,415. I want to say.
Yeah,
and that was right before Toa as well. I was like, oh yes. And then here I am, 4,300 now, and I'm just like, I got a 3rd spectral the other day, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens for the rest of that.
This coffer top up.
Yeah, I'm actually keeping so I dropped over 1 dupe spectral. I'm gonna keep this one just in case. There's something where like now I'm thinking maybe it's best to hold on to a dupe sigil because this is not gonna be something that I'm gonna be willing to grind later if I complete Corp. So if they come out with a new like shield, it would be cool to keep my original spectral. That's the other thing with an arcane. I'd love to get a second arcane because damn, I hate the look of the Eladinus ward. I think it looks disgusting. I just hate it.
Yeah, it's gross. The original shields look way better. I agree.
So much better. Yeah.
My second alley is actually not on my account anymore. I was hosting a LAN party and I had a mate, IRL mate, that played Rooney, and he was like really getting into it, and he was like, he'd always express his interest in Chambers' Xerix, but he didn't have anyone to go with. And at the LAN, I was like, oh, well, I'll rope some of the boys to come with, and I kind of told them that, you know, he's a bit of a learner. I don't think people were sort of too keen to take the learner and have the patience, because these guys were like, some of the DIY boys were, you know, don't want to say elitist, but you boys, you're pretty enthusiastic about the game. And so I had to bribe them. I said, look, here's the deal. If we get a purple trim on the raid, there's about 8 of us, I'll drop an alley off my Ironman and we'll take it to the duel arena and we'll send it. And then if I win, we'll split it up between 8 of us. And so lo and behold, End of Chambers comes out. Bang, purple light. Someone picked up the Ancestral Kilt. Fantastic. My friends had the time of his life doing the raid. And obviously he was getting a split from the lootations as well. And so I took one of the alleys off the account. I PK'd myself on my main. Went to the arena and won.
Wow.
So it was such a good little storyline for the like. I hate when people are like, oh wow, you've got an alley on that account. I was like, bro, I had 2. You know, like I wish it was just, you know, we talk about like when you kind of like that validation, like you want to impress the boys and flex a little bit. It's like I can't do that to the extent I could before, but I think it was the most beautiful way you could get rid of a second alley on an Ironman ever. And so people got paid out like 350 mil each or something like that. It was great fun.
No, I don't actually blame anybody for dropping over dupes. I'm actually a dupe dropper, so there's been a lot of things I've gotten dupes of. I mean, I've had 2 T-bows and I dropped one over. I've dropped everything. So I just have to, like, in my mind, just tell everybody off the top, just like I drop over every dupe.
You just go to Bali or something for the weekend, did you?
No, I didn't actually. This is I actually used to like give away a lot of GP when I first started streaming. Like basically every single clue scroll I'd do, I'd be like just whoever's closest basically gets a bond, and I'd just be giving away bonds a bunch. I was like, I don't care about the GP. Plus at this point, like when I started streaming, I was like, okay, the last thing that I want to have happen to me is get banned for real world trade. Like the last, that is just like the worst thing. That just imagine being a content creator, like trying to be a content creator and just getting your account banned. Like, so I had to, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you're keeping your monthly foot pictures to the J mods anyway. I'm sure you're upkeeping that.
Oh yeah, we're good. I can do whatever I want. I can do no wrong. I'm lawless. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, protected.
Yeah. Dude, are you going to RuneFest?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I'm so glad it's back. It is the highlight of the year, man.
You've gone before, even if right?
Yeah, I've done it two or three times maybe. Because I did the game shows and stuff where we hosted the quiz one year, and then I did the Family Feud RuneScape version of it though. It was good fun. But it's cool seeing all the content creators and their communities come together, and it's such a variety of people, bro. Like you've got your absolute jocks like Skidler, and then you've got your gremlins who haven't washed their hands.
Yep.
I don't think ever. I'd like to maybe when I go, I'll give away some free bottles of instant hand sanitizer or something like that.
They're not going to use it. Shit's foreign to them. Yeah.
Yeah. They're probably allergic to it naturally. Yeah. I don't know.
A rash.
But are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'm going. Like, I have this like super just like hopeful desire that Jagex somehow like maybe pays for some part of it, just because it's gonna be hella expensive. But yeah, no matter what, I'm gonna find a way to go. So
I'll do a little donation goal, or I'm sure the community will get behind it. Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, no, but it just sounds. I mean, I went to TwitchCon this past year, and I went to like the Based event earlier 2023 as well, and it's just so fun meeting up with everybody and like seeing people in the flesh. It's just like, wow, like you're a real person,
Yeah,
it's great.
People
fun.
you've just chatted to for years, and you've built the best connections with, and then it's like just the icing on the cake when you actually finally get to meet up. And they never look anything like you expect them to. Like it's always quite funny, but you feel like you've known each other for so long. It's just like there's no awkward's.
Yeah,
even though you've never physically met. You're just like, yes, lad, bring it in. Come on,
yep.
Here you come. Yeah.
What's crazy? I'm trying to think of like the surprising people. Well, Puggin. He is tall as fuck. He's like 6 foot.
Is he?
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
I always thought he was a bit of a shorty.
I know. It's the same with Coxie. I thought Coxie was like 5'5". I didn't get to meet him. I still haven't met him, but apparently he's like 6'2", 6'3".
No way.
I know.
There's no way. He looks like a little pocket rocket.
I know. He looks so short. He's legitimately like 6'3", I think.
Unreal.
I know. It's crazy.
I didn't know Defy was such a beast too.
Yeah, I got to meet him. We were in the same Airbnb. That guy is massive.
By default, he's in the NBA.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. So, how tall are you in American units? Because I'm not.
I'm 6'3".
Okay, damn.
I'm about 192 centimeters. So yeah, okay. 6'3".
Yeah, here I am at like, I mean, I'll say till the day I die. I mean, in the early days, I used to say I'm 6 foot just to get that little edge, but me even saying 5'11" is giving myself a little bit too much credit. I'm just under 5'11", so.
I reckon if you're just under 5'11", just round it up. Like, I think 5'10", some people will have the audacity to say they're 6 foot, and I don't blame them. I think 5'9", you just got to own it at that point.
Yeah, the problem is like if I'm deadly honest and I don't give myself that extra half inch and say I'm 5'11", then if I say I'm 5'10", then people are going to assume, oh, you're actually 5'9". They're like, there's no way you're actually 5'10", and being honest. All right? Like, so you're definitely 5', and I want to at least make myself, okay, so I'll just say 5'11".
Yeah. So. I play RuneScape and I'm 5'11". There is no way a woman could ever think you could be any more of a version of, like, a more honest version of yourself. I know. Peak honesty. Like if you say that to a woman, it's like she can't she can never question any
Yeah.
any doubts,
Yeah.
you know, that you put in front of her.
The worst part is like, okay, so this is going hella deep in the psychology of it, because if you say you're 5'11" like me, then you know, well, first of all, nobody's being 100% honest with their height, unless you're, of course, like 6'3". Then you don't need to like fuck. But if you're
I'm actually almost 6'4", so I've come down a little bit.
you're lowering, yeah. You get to that point where it's
yeah.
like I want to seem normal, yeah. 6'3" is so optimal. Like I just feel like that's such a good like in American unit saying 6'3" is like damn, you got the fucking genetic lottery. You just hit that, but yeah, no, saying 5'11" is so odd, because if you were actually 5'11", you would not be saying you're 5'11". You'd be saying you're 6 foot.
You're spot on.
It's just like nobody's saying they're 5'11" except for me. And so it gives you like that weird thing where you're like, this guy's dishonest. Like something's off. Like you just, and technically I am being dishonest because I'm not actually quite, I mean, I'm 5'11" with shoes for sure. But
I've got an idea. What if you said you're 5'10" and 3/4? Because that is specific enough that there's no rounding.
Oh, but it's
although
so
the
cringe.
only downside, it's so desperate to say that, like, you know, you're being almost too specific.
Dude, it's like being a 10-year-old and saying I'm 10 and a half. Like, what the hell are you doing? Just stop. Just you're 10.
Or a parent saying their baby's 38 months old. It's like, bro, your kid's
No, nobody cares. Just say it's a baby. Like, just,
yeah,
or a toddler. Yeah.
Look, get him doing Cook Slayer, and then let's call him 3 years old. That's what I'm gonna do when I'm a father. Instead of really sending my kids, you know, to their bedroom, I'm gonna send them to mine, and they can just do rune crafting or something for me. Parenting done right.
What, do you think you're actually gonna have your kid play RuneScape? Or okay, it's such a stupid thing to ask. I need to just rephrase what I'm saying. I'm gonna let my kid do whatever the hell they want. Whatever their passions are, hobbies. There would be no part of me that's like, you need to play this.
Yeah.
But I would not be, I wouldn't be sad. Some people are like, oh my God, I would never introduce my kid to this game. I'm like, I don't care. They'd probably enjoy it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, you know, I won't say that RuneScape has not brought me a lot of distraction and that I could have spent my time more meaningfully somewhere else. But the bottom line is, like, the amount of enjoyment it's brought me, you know, it could have been the same doing something else too. So it's like, well, it doesn't really matter. I think as long as you've got everything in line and, you know, you're on top of other things and it's not crippling your lifestyle to a point where it's becoming unhealthy. I'm like, yeah, at that point, you know, if I could see. But it's hard to kind of put that kind of pressure on a child. Like you can't be like, yeah. At the same time, I guess you can be like, make sure you've done your homework and you've had dinner, and then, you know, you can spend a bit of time on the computer. I guess it just comes down to some healthy parenting. Like
totally. I don't know what it's like to be a parent. All I know is like the things like my parents love me to death, and I'm really grateful for the childhood I had for the most part. But there's definitely things I really wish would have been different, and things that when I raise a child, I'm definitely going to keep in mind. But I think just being like really honest with your child about like what the world, I mean, obviously it comes with age and stuff. I don't know what I'm going to be telling my kid when he's like 5 or 6, but it's like you get to a certain point, and I just want to, I don't know, I don't want to like give my kid any like false sort of like delusions or anything about what the real world's like, but without being too grim about everything, but just like understanding like this is how the world works, and like what do you want out of life, like what do you want, and these are the ways you get what you want. And so I think the biggest thing for me is like I had a lack of vision as a kid. Like I had no idea what was coming after high school. I really didn't. Like I just wasn't, just real life seemed like a mystery to me. It was just like clouded vision basically. And so I think for my kid, I just want to like give them options and just like, what do you want out of life basically? And like, this is how you will get that. And like, let's work toward that, you know?
Yeah, I like that. It's good.
Yeah. It's just, I again, like this, every person that becomes a parent, then you realize, okay, what actually parenting is. I have no idea what it's actually like, but it's my hope at least. Yeah. Something else I was going to say right before that, but lost it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my dad and mum were always kind of against me gaming, to the extent that I did. But I got pushed there. I got bullied a lot in high school.
Mm,
So I naturally, used it as an escape.
yeah.
And it's just always consistent. It's just always got your back. RuneScape just doesn't talk back to you. It doesn't steal your
Doesn't
food.
judge
I
you.
mean, yeah, it's judge free and make some friends, and it filled in a lot of gaps. I feel like a lot of people listening or playing the game in general would probably relate to that. It's been really beneficial. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess in that
Yeah.
way.
Especially
Yeah.
for us. I mean, we are content creators, so it's definitely worked out really great.
Yeah, that's the reason I think Dad got on board with it eventually in the end, is because he actually saw my hunger to do something with it eventually as
Yeah.
well. But I think it must be super daunting for parents to be able to kind of expect their kid to make something from it without having like a plan B. I think Dad said that he's like get a degree, and then I don't really care what you do as long as you've got something to fall back on.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that, and so
Yeah, for me,
yeah,
it's really like, I mean, because I had so many passions as a kid. I was super into art. I was super into like, I would even make stop motion films and stuff with my camcorder that I
sick.
bought, and like just do a bunch of different things. But I felt, and I don't know what it was really like back then. Like I'm just like I'm painting a narrative in my mind of kind of how it went, but I just never remember anybody giving me acknowledgement of like, oh my God, like you're making something really creative. Like this is something you should continue to pursue. It
Mm,
always seemed to me that it was people would just tell me like, oh, this is just you kind of messing around, having fun. Like, but this isn't gonna get you anywhere. Don't expect anything from this. And again, I don't think anybody directly told me that, but I think mentally in my head, it was like all of this time is wasted. Like me doing this kind of artsy stuff, like this isn't a real job. This isn't going to lead me anywhere. And playing video games, that's not going to lead you anywhere. Like, what are you doing? You're just wasting your time. But ultimately, I
mm,
mean, we live in just a crazy time where you can literally make videos of anything and become a creator and have a lucrative like thing going, stream of income. If you do, I mean, have you seen people? I got really obsessed with handwriting as a kid as well. I was so particular about my handwriting, making it look absolutely amazing. There's people that are making YouTube shorts with a pencil in their hand, writing something that looks really aesthetic, like just makes it look cool. And they get millions of
yeah,
views. I'm like,
yeah,
bruh, that was not a thing. So I don't blame anybody for not having like, praise me. Like, oh my God, like you should like, keep doing this. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay dividends in the future if you, somehow market it. But like, nowadays there's so many avenues of being creative and really following your passions. I think that's the thing for sure that I want my kid to know is like be passionate about something and pursue that. Like just do it. Why not?
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's the I guess the whole social media thing. It's got its pros and cons, but yeah, I think one of the pros is it does give people platforms to sort of, you know, I guess give rise and maybe make their passions and stuff a livelihood, and I think that's pretty cool. I think that's really cool to be seen in that way, and yeah, to
Totally.
have an avenue, some sort of creative direction, like you said.
S-
Regendow has got ridiculously good handwriting. Have you seen his handwriting before? I'm trying to find a tweet.
Oh no, I don't think I have.
Oh man, ask him to
Actually,
write you a
maybe I
Christmas
have.
card.
It's like ringing a bell.
Yeah, ask him to write you a Christmas card or something. Oh, here we go. Hang on, look at this.
Okay, let me see.
It's honestly it's pretty impressive. I feel like maybe he was reincarnated from like an American president back in the day or something. Like that note surely would have been on National Treasure 3 or something.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. I'm on the YouTube side. Yeah, it looks the Barrows brothers. Yeah.
The six.
Yeah, this is really nice, and it
Mm.
seems like it wasn't super super slow. It seemed like you can kind of get a good like flow going. I
Yeah.
was never like a cursive writer. I would do really creative things. Like have you ever seen the lettering where like it looks like bubble letters almost, but you remove half of the lines, so it's like a shadow sort of
Ah,
the letters.
Yeah.
And I got really into that, and then I got into like the slanted thing where like you make these super super tall lines, but then you look at the paper from a different angle, and then you can see everything like really nice. And then of course I would get really creative with just how I did names and stuff like that, just like went hard, but it was never like this fancy old style kind of text. That looks really nice. Yeah. So I want to kind of switch gears and actually talk about your like content creation journey. Like what even got you into doing what you're doing? Like how long have you been doing this for? Like I want to hear kind of the journey and where you're at now.
Yeah. I was originally doing social media and digital marketing for a company, and back when like Snapchat was around and it was just starting, before they even had stories, like I'm talking, people would wake up on a Sunday and they would have 15 different individual Snapchats from me, like sort of collated together. And I felt like I had a bit of a knack for, I guess, yeah, creating content, like full stop. And whether that was just funny skits around the house, little cooking shows and stuff I'd put together. And then I was kind of at a crossroads where um, I kind of wanted to make something of my own. Like I I got obsessed with the idea of building my own brand rather than someone else's. I felt that was like a necessary step. So I kind of put two and two together. I was like, well, I like gaming and I like creating content, and I don't know where I'd heard about Twitch, but I was like, okay. While I've got, a little bit of student loan debt, whatever, but I don't have any commitments. I've got no baggage. I'm like, okay. I told myself I'll either start a marketing company or I'm going to do streaming. And it made sense that I did streaming because it was a lot more low input, a lot less risk. And it's probably something I wouldn't see myself doing later down the track. And so, yeah, I basically bought out a comp, and while I was doing the social media and digital marketing gig, I would do that from about sort of 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and then I'd get home at about sort of 5:30. I'd have dinner, have an hour and a bit to myself, and then I'd jump on and I'd be, I think, streaming from about sort of, sort of like 7 p.m. until sort of 12:30, 1 a.m. in the morning. I did a lot of sort of drinking related content. I remember one of my first iterations was Fire Cape Fridays. Some people will know that one. And basically, I was shit, still am subpar at the game, where I had to drink a sip of brew in a Fire Cape attempt, meant I had to drink a quarter of a beer. And so it was this real fun, vicious cycle where the more mistakes I made, the drunker I got, and the drunker I got, the more mistakes I made. So, if I had an absolute shocker for first run, by the time I'd be going to bed at, on a Tuesday after like good 5 or 6 beers, I'd be, a little bit playful. It was good. And yeah, so I did Twitch for about, I think it was 6 months, whilst working alongside my job, and it was just a natural gravitation where they sort of let me go, got made redundant. It wasn't really working out. Didn't really agree with the management style so much, and didn't have too many, I guess, like-minded people around me to sort of keep me engaged and energized. So I just kind of put all my eggs in one basket, and the community just been supporting me ever since. Made so many good friends. And then I was like, oh, cool. Well, like I was quite infatuated with like game shows and stuff like that back then. And so at that point, I was kind of reaching out to other content creators to bring them on to, every week I would do Millionaire Monday. And so I would make 15 questions, and they'd all be tiered in terms of difficulty. And I'd invite other content creators on. They'd jump in the hot seat, and then, they'd basically play for a certain amount of GP. It was never a lot because my account wasn't like super loaded. I think it was more the novelty. And no one was really doing game shows back then. Hyphonics had a crack at stealing my bloody game show idea. Little fucker, John. I expressed my displeasement on that, and we came to an agreement. He was not going to be a dick. And so I think that's kind of what propelled the channel and my content, and I think that's probably been like a core strength of mine, is to kind of, I guess, host people and facilitate conversation between people. Naturally, just kind of playing the game by itself, I felt has never really been like my calling as such. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I did it for so many years. I kind of lost the novelty, kind of wore off a little bit, and it just felt more like work rather than fun. And it's probably unreal to always expect to be having fun all the time with work. But yeah, I kind of tapered off a wee bit on the game shows and concentrated a bit more. And I just got hooked on Ironman, bro. You know,
That
it's
happens
such an
too.
addictive
Yeah.
game mode, as you know. So yeah, I probably took my foot off the pedal a little bit, and then yeah, that whole inflammation thing happened. It was just a bit of a cascade, but
What happened?
yeah. Oh, the whole reactive arthritis
Oh
crap.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of been the root, I think, of my content creation is hosting and the game shows. And we like to do things a little creatively and intertwine some drinks, I think, as a Kiwi, innovation and drinking purposes. Yeah, it's been the setup really from the get-go.
That's cool. Yeah, no, it's fun. I think I'm not like in the game show department, but definitely like getting just kind of being more interactive with the community is definitely kind of where I've sort of leaned over the years as well, just with podcasting especially. Just it was never really meant to get to this point where I just talk to anybody. It was literally just like it's kind of just I mean, I still talk about RuneScape a lot in the casts, but I've definitely kind of ventured out into other conversations with other OSRS creators and players and stuff. But it really initially it was just meant to just be talking with the boys that are, you know, on the Ironman grind initially, and then, you know, just kind of talking about how the game's going. And I guess it still is sort of like that, but I've definitely had a variety of people, and now it's just part of the weekly ritual. And like you said, you were saying, you know, doing something consistently where initially it's just, oh, this is hella fun. Like, this is just a great thing. And then it becomes kind of like that work of like, oh, this is kind of a lot of work now. I really had to take, like, there's been a couple moments over the last 3 years where like I've had to make like adjustments in my mind. I'm like, okay, why am I stressed out right now about doing this? Like, this was supposed to be pure fun. This is supposed to be a side project. This is supposed to be just like me chatting shit. And so there have been a few moments where I've had to like reevaluate like why this was fun, why I wanted to do this in the first place. Cause sometimes it can get kind of overwhelming. Like, obviously, like just talking to somebody weekly is not that big of a deal, but for some reason mentally you can get into like that kind of rut of like, I should take a break, or just like,
yeah.
But ultimately, no, go for it.
Yeah, it's that. Sorry, it's keeping that. I guess that consistency. You know, people always have these motivational sort of ploys and speeches about getting from 0 to 100, if you will. You know, but no one. I'm not point of like arrogance or anything like that. Let's just say like it's you know, from a point of, you know, reasonable establishment to a point where it's my livelihood, right? But no one tells you or teaches you how to stay in that like sixth and like final gear of not burning out, of what makes, I think, your content great and things like that. Like, or, you know, if a business is doing really well, maybe it's not something that you would expect might have happened. No one kind of like talks about how to stay there and sustain things.
Yeah,
it's always
totally.
the grind to get there in the first place is what's always like highlighted all the time.
Yeah, and then it's literally keep your gas on the pedal, like just keep it going and keep innovating too. That's the other thing. You have to keep things somewhat fresh. Like there's definitely something nice about making content for the OSRs community where everyone's just hella nostalgic, and so you really don't need to change things up too much. People aren't expecting the new best thing. They want to keep things, you know, pretty down low and just, I don't know, normal RuneScape stuff. If in fact, like it's the complete opposite here, where like you venture out, you lose your audience. You know, venturing out too much, you gotta.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, it really is. But no,
I mean, that's the beauty,
yeah,
of this game, right? It's like it's so like versatile. You can, you know, literally, it's just your imagination is your only limitation with this game and creating content. Like that's the beauty of it. People always ask like, oh, okay, why don't you branch out and try new things? But it's like, fuck, we just have it so good, you know, with RuneScape and its cult like following in general.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
You're right about like the consistent thing, like keeping your foot. It's not even like keeping your foot on the gas. It's just like continuing, like doing what you're doing. And we see it with like all the OG like household name creators, like Bodhi, Foe, Mr. Mammal, Curtis, like all these guys. Like they're not really doing anything crazy. They're just being consistent. And
Yeah.
that, I mean, that's ultimate. That has a lot to be like there's a lot to be said about like doing something and then continuing, even when, you know, maybe you're not, because the other thing with streaming, especially, and just like YouTube in general, just these, it's really risky. Like some months are just going to suck and some months are going to be great. But ultimately, you just keep going and things, for the most part, go pretty well if you stay consistent.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, man, is being consistent. Like I take my hat off to them. Like it's a struggle, and maybe I guess there's other content creators out there who deal with that in a much better way, and they've had those conversations and they keep that balance maybe so that they can appreciate it day in day out. But it's the hard part. Keep the balance, you know. I think if you keep an honest sort of lifestyle outside of streaming, so you don't, you know, feel like too much of a piece of shit. I feel like it's
Yeah.
it's good to stay there. It's easier. It's a lot easier to stay there.
Yeah, for sure. I've had my, like this past year, like 2023 was definitely the roughest year, at least at the beginning, and toward the end it got a little bit better, but I was definitely the most inconsistent I've been, and those are the moments, at least for me, where I've realized like how lucky I am and how much I've been taking this for granted.
Mm.
You know, there's part of that. Like I was dealing with mental stuff as well, so it's not just like it's not just laziness ultimately, but when you realize like how much you have and how much like you really want it, like when you look at the position you're in and you see like years and years ago like what you would have done to have been in this position, and then not seeing it for what it is, at least for me personally, like it makes me sad that like I do take things for granted here and then, and I have to like reevaluate. I'm like, okay, like I'm in a very blessed position right now to be able to do this and live off of it. Like it's nice. So
Yeah, it's a
something I
matter
have
of
to remember.
perspective.
Totally.
Yeah, definitely a matter of perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to these Twitter topics. There's a few I want to cover. Let's see.
Fire.
Okay. Joe Watermelon is asking, how do you feel about OSRS incorporating healers / roles to new PVM content? I know he plays WoW.
That's a very good question. I got an itching of this first, I think, with Nightmare, how that, you know, it would target Nightmare basically will target the person with the highest slash defense. Is that right?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
So effectively, you could deliver. You know, you could you know have a dedicated tank role in there, even though you know they're not going to have to necessarily absorb more damage. But it's a hard one because in the game of RuneScape, you can take 3 styles and cover all 3 roles anyway. Whereas World of Warcraft is like it's an actual role playing game, I guess, where people have dedicated roles. You have dedicated healers. And I love that, but at the same time, it does make some content less accessible. So it's a bit of a trade-off, but I think it's cool. Just because it would highlight more different gear sets at the same time. I would like to see it in some capacity.
Yeah.
But Jagex keep releasing content that's like solo focused. Like I was really hoping that the arena could be like a duo or something as well.
Yeah, that would be
Like a
cool.
1 to 3. Like even CG I reckon should have been like 1 to 3 players. Like it could have been dungeoneering on a smaller scale.
That would be so cool. They still have, I know, you're right. Like we still have a huge like future for OSRs where those things can be done, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, for sure. That's cool. Yeah, in the future they could definitely come out with some sort of raid that has like a barbarian assault like sort of system where you actually are forced into a role. So like initially in the raid, like it would be like a 3-person minimum raid or something like that, or some sort of gauntlet type thing. And you go in and you've specified your roles.
Mm.
So you just physically can't use a different style if you're a certain role, and so you're really dedicated on one thing, doing your I don't know, like maybe it would be over simple, it'd just be like too simple. It's like, okay, now there's not like the gear switching and all these other mechanics that you could master it with, but
Yeah.
ultimately it
I
would be fun if there was some sort of like role thing where you're relying on your teammates to do things.
Yeah, I think in a raid environment, like maybe testing the waters and just having one boss that has a certain mechanic where like one person is like, barbarian might have to pick up one kind of item and I don't know, maybe their spells instead of damaging, like they can cast on players and a heal. I don't know, like, or it's more dispelling things rather than a heal, just because people can actually like eat food anyway. So maybe it's something along the lines of having a dedicated role that's not necessarily healing, but it is maybe giving people power ups, or it's playing support is probably a better word, I think, for it.
Mm,
Yeah, it would be, I think, a more integrated approach to RuneScape, just because of the notion that I guess we have food already and brews and potions that can heal us. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, with World of Warcraft, I think they they get that they get that right. Like, I want to talk about the system in which World of Warcraft operates, because I think the one thing, the kind of the crux with raids and RuneScape is that the barriers to entry are quite high, because no one really has the patience to want to have to put up with like learners, in the sense that it's going to, you know, we're so focused on numbers, and like the smallest of numbers mean the biggest of impacts down the line for dry streaks, that people don't really want to bring on learners, just because it's gonna sort of draw out their progression, or they're gonna make less money an hour kind of thing. I feel like we've lost a lot of the soul in this game for that reason. I feel like it's too punishing to not be immediately good at a raid.
Mm,
Where when you die, you lose points, right?
yeah.
Which it makes sense. If you look on the other side of the fence, World of Warcraft, you don't lose any points, you just lose time, which at the same time does correlate to you essentially losing out on GP an hour and a possible chance at a drop. Um, and I've always kind of been for the stance of don't penalize players' mistakes, so that collectively, like as a team, you're more likely to lose out on loot. I know
Interesting. No,
that's
no, that's
really probably really, really unpopular, but I feel like
no, it's not
people would be
actually.
more motivated to actually bring learners and be more accepting of new players and bring them along with them, because they're going to make mistakes that'll probably set you back in time anyway. So, yes, that's probably enough of a cause and enough incentivization for players to get better, rather than actually having to brute force the whole thing the entire time anyway. I think that's people's sort of cause for pause on that, is that, oh, you could just brute force your way through a raid, but it's like,
Okay,
you
yeah,
would
go
still
for
have
it.
to
Yeah,
get,
like
yeah,
have
yeah, you're
fun
still
spending
gonna
a
have
lot of
to get,
time doing that.
yeah, you're still gonna have to get the mechanics right anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I would like to see, yeah, personally, some level of that, because I feel like we are losing a little bit of the soul of the game. I feel like maybe sorry, a bit of a tangent here. I think the social structure of RuneScape's lacking a little bit. Like, most people don't even know we have a grouping interface, for certain PVM activities. You've got TOA and stuff in there, and you look at WoW, and I think it's so easy to interact and engage with other players and make new friends on there, just because of their social systems that they have in
Hmm.
place already. Like, people are so accustomed and used to using the public chats to organize teams for certain things. Like, I would really like to see more emphasis on that in the actual game itself. And you complain, like, you hear people complaining all the time about, well, it's so hard to like find people, or like I'd rather play by myself. And like, absolutely, I think it's not two sides. I think it's one cohesive experience. It's like both points are absolutely true, because they mean the same thing. Like, I wonder if those social systems were in place and used and populated, and I think just easier to access. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
how much more people might actually like to play the game with other people because it's actually easier to find and play with other people.
you're totally right. There's some fun, so I'll just say two things on that. Is like, so Hallowed Sepulchre, when it first released, they actually penalized you for not making time. Like you would lose XP on top, and then they changed that shortly after because they realized you're already losing XP by just being slow. So why are we going to double punish you for
exactly.
So, and that's a really good change. That's totally fair. The other thing is, yeah, I'm completely with you. It feels like the more players you add to content, the harder shit gets. Like we see that. I mean, doing a mass chambers is a fucking headache. Like it's just like things go hella chaotic. And if I mean, seriously, at this point especially, because we're gonna have raids 4, we're gonna have raids 5, we're gonna have raids 6, we're gonna have things that eventually devalue chamber stuff. So we've already made very positive changes to chambers, and I think one of like seriously a really good change would be remove the point loss. Like remove the point loss from deaths. I think that would be actually fine at this point. If somebody could, I'd love to hear an argument against that because you're still losing time ultimately. It's going to get people into it. It's not going to feel so depressing dying at the very end and losing 40% of your points. And the other thing is just get rid of certain mechanics that make massing unbearable, like burning and things like that in Ulm, where going in with a bunch of people actually is a fun experience, and it is easier low-key. Like the damage scaling isn't all of a sudden on steroids and you're getting 60s off prayers and shit. Just like what the hell is going on? Like, bro, if I could just like mass chambers with a bunch of noobs and have a very pleasant time where we're not just at negative points at the end of the raid, like I would love that. Like that'd be fun.
Do you know what this game would be? It would be an MMORPG. Worthy of its category.
That'd be crazy.
It would actually be, bro. I'm so unbelievably with you. Like, we are steering players into this mindset that it's disadvantageous to game with other people because it's like you're facing adversity and it's not worth the cost. Like they need to really be responsible for thinking and incentivizing people to play in larger scale groups.
Yep. No, they really fucked up with Nightmare too. It was like could have been one of the most enjoyable experiences of going in with a bunch of motherfuckers and taking this boss down, getting drops left and right, like seeing drops at least left and right. But they are just totally delusional and made some fucking lottery drop rates, and they got worse and worse and worse and worse the more you added people.
And then they made a solo version of the boss more efficient to do.
And easier, in my opinion. I genuinely doing a solo normal Nightmare versus a solo Fasani's is literally easier. It's half the time.
Agreed.
So on 100%. Top, it's ridiculous. So,
it pains me because Nightmare is actually an incredibly fun boss. It's so well designed.
Yep.
It's actually it's a really good time, but it's just they're not encouraging people to play with other players. Like I think with TOA they almost got it right, where it was at least linear, so you can add people to your raid and it doesn't affect your chance at drops. I mean, like it's just more apparent now anyway. I'm pretty sure it's the same with chambers, but when you do things like TOB, like it's disadvantageous to go with a 4 or 5 man because you're going to make less GP per hour or whatever, because you're having to split between more people, and it's not outweighing bringing more people on in terms of the speed you actually complete it at, right?
Yeah.
So they need to, I feel like they really need to be mindful of use how they did it in TOA, where it's not a disadvantage in terms of GP per hour.
Yeah, they nailed it. They nailed it with TOA. Like doing 8-mans, like you're seeing purples left and right. It feels so good. TOB, the worst part is them trying to scale things. Like Nightmare, it was the most egregious example, where an 80-man feels the exact same as a 5-man. You just buffed all the HP. It's the exact same goddamn fight. It takes just as long. People are dying left and right, so the drops are going to be worse overall. And then the drop rates are absurd. I mean, I remember calcing it. It was, if you were doing an 80-man normal Nightmare, to get a specific orb, it was 1 in 92,000 to get a specific orb in your name. So imagine going 5x rate. I mean, you're looking at 500,000. Just
Yeah.
what are you guys thinking? What are you
Yeah.
just delusional?
They need to
So
have a formula that a little post-it note on the top of everyone's development computer on their monitor. That just, I don't know what the parameters would be. Something along the lines of like, the average speed of completion with the amount of players. It needs to, I guess be. You can do like the hangover where old mate's at the table running all the numbers in his head, but like it probably just sounds really confusing. Where the GP per hour as a basis is equal to, or it increases the more players that you have participating in the raid or the boss. But only increasing by fractions of amount to a point where people that are doing it in solo or smaller teams aren't complaining because maybe they don't have 10 people to do it with. But like it has to be at least linear, like TOA.
yep. Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the sad things with Nex is, well, first of all, Nex has a lot of problems when it comes to like phases, getting like damage nullifiers, and just the amount of time it takes to start the new kill, like refreshing that, because like massing Nex is just an entire waste of time. It's not obviously as egregious as Nightmare was, but like if you're doing 30-man Nex, you're trolling yourself. Like this is just
Yeah.
the worst waste of time ever. And that makes me kind of sad in a way. Like I'm glad that ultimately, it is more efficient to kind of be in those smaller teams and kind of get these things going with Nex in particular, but it really should not be that big of a difference between going in a 30-man. Like the difference should be the amount of time it takes to respawn the fight. So like the time you're saving ultimately should be just you have less downtime because you're doing smaller teams. Because if you're doing 30-mans, you're getting just so much time is just wasted reloading the kill, just reloading the boss, like calling out the names of the 4 things. And it would have just been so cool if you could just run in and do some mass Nex, just like have some fun and feel like you have a chance of getting something. But no, it's like you are trolling unless you get a 3-man or 4-man team going.
And I understand, like, they have an incredibly tough time and like a tough job in trying like to balance, like, let's say, like, it doesn't have to be all content, but I think the ones that are obviously relevant and substantial in the game, like Nex, like the raids, like where you get your best in slot items, they need special attention at least in that present time, because they're that's kind of the social hub of where people are spending a lot of their time, right? So like, why not make it an environment where if someone runs into the room, you're not going to just shun them out because it adds an extra person that is in a party or team, or they're less likely, they're more likely to rip a drop off you or something like that. You almost want to like be okay, or at least enthusiastic about people joining you.
Yeah, totally. That's so important. And also just on that point of nullifying damage, I hate that shit. I hate when there are specific phases that are forced on you. One of the most egregious examples is Volcano. You go in Volcano and you are forced to do a 3 down. Like it must be 3 down. Gate keeps you at 640 HP and gate keeps you at 240 or 620 or whatever it is. And it's like so dumb, because the more people you add, you just realize this is going to take so much longer to get shit. Now, if you could add a certain amount of people, and like, okay, we could potentially 1 down it because we've just added a few more people. Like, let's fucking 1 down this shit, guys. Like, let's go. And you're really focusing on a little bit more collaboration, getting enough people into 1 down this thing. Then it would be like really fun, and there would be a little bit of variety. So you could still do the small teams where you could still have the potential of 2 downing it, but I hate when they force these damage caps. And it's the same thing with Nex, where you get fucking 1 shot off and it forces the HP to cap at a certain thing. Like if they were to get rid of that, massing Nex would be insanely fun, because you could even do some coordinated shots where like, hey, like all of us, let's fucking ZCB right here and none of the damage is getting nulled. We could literally skip an entire phase, just boom. Do some really cool creative stuff. But no, the fact that they force these things because they think the integrity of the boss fight is like important for some reason to force it, it bothers me to no end. I hate it.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, you're spot on. Like what people are motivated by in most aspects, right, is either the GP per hour, or the likelihood of them obtaining a drop, across personal hours spent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, work backwards from that, So I agree. Like, even if you made it down to like a mass world, and then I don't know if the mechanics were changed specifically just for that world, that's probably very, very hard to do on the coding side or something like that. But it's probably a different iteration of the game. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, people are just motivated in that way, so just work backwards from that, balance it. They've got all the data, they can make small changes here and there. Like,
Yep. Jono is asking, Sater, can you ask my bro Ron if there's been many shoulder taps over the holiday period? I'm out of the loop with this.
bit of a personal joke, more of a cue to be a menace, if you will. But Jono, it has been a very well behaved stint over New Year's, my good friend. But yes, I would be tapping your shoulder if I was on the other island.
All right. Y Ace is asking, worst item grinds as a late game Ironman in your opinion?
Oh, it's a good question.
We didn't even talk about your next grind. Can you explain? Like, I feel like people maybe didn't. You were there for a while, right? Have you green logged it?
I have.
Okay.
So basically I did about 600 to 700 mass kills when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very fun. Just whipping around the place, shooting arrows for a wee bit. And then I did it. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It was perfect timing of COVID too. I feel like it was a coordinated release. It was great marketing, eh? And then I did about 4,300 small teams, so anywhere from 6 to duos. Probably on average, I probably did about 4,300 sort of 3 to, like, I'd say 4-mans.
Okay. Wow.
And my last item was a Nilhorn. I ended up with, let's have a look at the log. 3 pets, 2 hilts, 10 van braces.
Jesus.
More wristbands than a bloody summer festival, bro. 2 full helms, 6 plates, 6 legs, and almost 10,000 shards.
Man, 10,000.
Yeah, there's a few. I sacrificed a few brews on that one, but it was weird because I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was me coping or not, but I think what makes a good boss is at least 2 attack styles that you bring. Doesn't have to be a full 8-way switch. And that's obviously up to the mechanics and the sets of the boss. And I felt doing the melee fang, back then it was a bit of rapier and whatnot, was really, really engaging to do. You're sort of switching in and out, like not too intensely, going from minion back to boss, minion back to boss. I just really enjoyed that. I thought it was really engaging in a really fun way. I understand a lot of people hate the chip damage of Nex, and it is a bit annoying. It can seem almost so punishing, and when you die there after stacking hundreds of KC, it is pretty demotivating. But yeah, seeing big splits and seeing people get their last item like 10 times and before you is pretty like, oh, I'm so happy for you, but I'm also dying on the inside.
Yeah, the pain, I guess, in my opinion, is just like having gone 10,000 Nile shards for completion. But you're right. I mean, as soon as you're in those small teams and you got some consistent gamers with you, it's really fun. Yep. It's chill.
Yeah, no, it is.
And the drops, I mean, they're not crazy. Like the normal loot isn't crazy, but it's still something to like, okay, like I'm getting a little bit of stuff. And then just seeing a drop, like seeing somebody get something, it was always hype. It was always cool.
100%. And then you get the off double drop and you just lose the plot.
Oh, how many did you get of that?
I probably saw maybe like, I didn't see too many, maybe like 4 double drops.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I reckon I probably saw like 15 to 20 nil horns before I saw mine. Maybe probably 20 horns, I reckon, splits.
So I completed Next recently, green logged it, and I'm at 2,700 Nile shards. So
I want to end the podcast right now. I don't wanna
okay, so there
Pull
was
Seth out.
so you probably remember toward the beginning of next there was actually a week or two potentially of this like MVP bug that was going on.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about it, but I was doing next at that time, and I was getting I was getting MVPs because I've always been like focused on like not losing ticks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like 4 drops within 100 4-mans that week. And I was just like, and I had no idea. And then all of a sudden it came to light, and I was like, oh, that was convenient. So that definitely just sped up my life. And I'm really grateful because as much as I like Nex, it's just something about setting up the team. And the other thing is like I was a grandmaster. So especially toward the end, I didn't even have to get KC. Like I just get like 100. I last like 6 hours basically with the 15 entering. So part of the problem was like having to get other people and waiting for them for 20 minutes or 30 minutes getting their KC, and just like the whole kind of process was just, I think it was just like this mental block where like I didn't want to go here, and I realized massing is just a waste of time. So there's so much time just thinking about it. But actually getting involved and starting the fights felt great. I liked it.
Yeah, the hardest part of Nex wasn't Nex.
Exactly.
Like, the worst part of Nex wasn't seeing the chip damage. It was the admin associated with even like before you got a team, like getting KC and all that kind of stuff. It was the process of getting there and actually getting in the door with a bunch of other gamers. Agreed. Yeah. That. Again, that's why I just feel, I think this game really could do with an overhaul or some education, or just enabling people to be able to game together easier, or just incentivizing people. And I understand it's a delicate situation because solo players don't want to feel like they're disadvantaged by not having friends, not friends, but people they want to play with effectively. And that's absolutely understandable. I don't think you should be penalized for that. But again, I would hope that maybe people see it not that they're being penalized, but they're not scanning an advantage.
Yeah. No, and TOA, like you said, did it perfectly. I only started understanding toward the end of my TOA grind that like, oh my God, like I actually hate solos. Like these things suck. Like I guess it's efficient in the way that I don't have to deal with getting people rounded up and starting the raid and dealing with everyone to pre-pot and all that. I could just run in. But ultimately, like doing duos or anything higher than that was just so much more fun, so much more chill, and I don't feel like I'm losing out on purples. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, TOA was pretty special. They did great. Yeah. They did really good.
What do you think of the new Fortis Colosseum coming out? Because you said you're kind of disappointed about the not it being a solo encounter, but
I think the rewards. I think the bolt pouch is quite cool. I think that's quite exciting. The ZCB is obviously like quite prominent, and I've got one of those now. But I think a whole, almost people have always talked about, I guess, like the whole like zombie kind of waves of survival as being quite cool. I mean, that's kind of infernal, actually, isn't it?
I guess kind of. It's not exactly like things don't get crazy hectic. It's just a pattern, and then there's the final thing. Yeah, this is gonna be endless. It seems like so.
Yeah, like there's like it's effectively no cap. It'll be a Tetris type situation, maybe. I'm for it. I'm keen. I'm pumped. They'll do a good job with it. But yeah, again, I would have liked to have seen it be like a 1 to 3 player sort of ordeal. I understand that, put some complexity in terms of how it's developed and whatnot as well. But I feel like with cool releases like that, it's worth the extra time to get some people wanting to game together. And again, it's implying the same principle as like you're not disadvantaged if you do it solo, like, and it's just as much fun. But yeah, I feel like if you ask anyone in this game where some of their best memories have come from, I feel like a lot of the time it's been with other players. So
yeah.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited. Well, just on that last point you said about other players, one of the great things about being a streamer is like sharing your live gameplay with people, because then me playing a solo Ironman, the way I play, it really is so much of it is solo, but it always has felt like I'm playing with people, because people are gaming alongside of me and they get to see what I'm doing, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a great position to be in. Fortis Colosseum, I'm really excited for that quiver. That thing is really busted, like an additional 20 accuracy and 2 strength, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, blowpipe's just going to start hitting. Like anything that attacks fast is going to just get that multiplicative effect of just this 20 accuracy is now every 2 shots with a blowpipe. It's like this.
True.
Your blowpipe is going to feel like pre-nerf blowpipe, which I'm really excited about because that was fun to use. And it's cool. I actually kind of wish, like, I am one of those people that at this point, I just wish we could just have 4 ammo slots without any sort of item. I just give me 4 ammo slots already, because there are situations where you need different ammo. Like Muspa is a great example. You want to bring the sapphire bolts, you want to bring the ruby bolts, you want to bring the arrows, so the quiver's not going to fully get rid of that. Like if the quiver maybe had 3 ammo slots or 4 ammo slots or something, that'd be nice. But I'm already thinking way ahead, where I'm like, just give me 4 ammo slots. We got the space for it in the gear tab. Just let me. I don't know how the quiver's going to work actually. Like, do you have to go to your gear tab and just click the new arrows you want to use? Is that how it's going to be?
Yeah,
or is it just going to register?
That's how I imagined it. It might be like the TOA sort of pouch where like it would have a bunch of different options on it, and then maybe they'll just rely on people using menu entry swapper or something,
Because I'm assuming if you do have just bolts and arrows, then you don't need to switch your ammo. It'll just react to if you have a crossbow or a bow equipped, hopefully.
That's right. Yeah.
But if you have 2 bolt types, that's when it starts getting confusing. So
it'd be cool, like if you could set a setting on it so that like under a certain threshold it would automatically switch to rubies or something.
Yeah, I really do wonder what they're going to be doing with that. So
what are the other rewards? They had some sort of intricate armors and things.
It's like there's like some prayer armor, which is just so boring. I almost pushed the agenda fully, and then it failed the poll of getting a range prayer armor. Like we have blessed d'hide that has like +1 prayer, but like that's nothing. I wanted like a proselyte version of black d'hide. So
that'd be cool. I think what's quite fun is the whole dragon bow necklace. Like for the obviously there's heaps of ways you can engage plenty of content, and you're usually rewarded if you put more input in. You're going to get higher XP or more GP, right? I always loved doing like a little task in the catacombs. I would go get the bone crusher. I would ancient mace spec my dummy in the house before I go down. And then you would just be there, and you'd like pretty reasonably high prayer bonus AFK like Dagonoth or
full AFK,
something like that.
Nice.
Full AFK, and you just burying some bones and you're picking up some seeds here and there, and that'd be really cool. I agree to see a range version of that as well. So I don't know, maybe you could do some jellies with the Venonata bow or.
That's exactly like the spot I would have loved it at. And like brutal black dragons. I mean, I still would wear my Masori like almost every case because we have that now, but.
Yeah.
If the prayer bonus is high enough, and that's something you can balance. I mean, I'm even at the point, and I've talked about this just in the previous casts of how like we have the Bellator ring now, which is +20 slash +6 strength. Like I want that same stuff with the treasonous ring and the tyrannical ring. Those rings are goddamn useless, and they need the Bellator effect where now you're 20 stab with 6 strength, and 20 crush with 6 strength.
Yeah, to bring them in line. I mean, maybe that's some room for some future content, I guess.
Yeah, but, totally. Yeah. They'll release that, and then and I've also said,
Brimmy.
Yeah, no, I mean, fuck the Brimmy, just like whatever you said. I mean, they could even add an attachment to the Brimmy down the line where like that thing just gets double stats, but it's still, the Brimmy's never going to be, well, actually, if it had double stats, that would actually be really appropriate, actually. That would actually kind of fall in line really nicely. In the future, I'm not thinking about it right now, but those wilderness rings definitely need something. Treasonous and tyrannical have been useless since the release, basically. And the other thing is the Ring of the Gods. So if they have those 2 upgrades, the Ring of the Gods would be the trifecta of upping that from +8 to +20. Then that ring really holds some good value of like, okay, this is some pretty good fucking prayer bonus to be rocking. That would be cool because and I want things to feel balanced. Like I want there to actually be cases where it's like, okay, this is genuinely good. 20 prayers, generous as hell, and that would be nice.
Or if the set effect of the range armor you're talking about buffed the Ring of the Gods or like certain rings like that.
Yeah, some like other set effects where you're wearing certain things that get different effects. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I can't even remember where I was going with that. Now I'm about to switch topics, but I just like completely forgot. I want to ask actually, like, do you like clue scrolls?
I love clue scrolls. That's like asking someone, "Do you like scratching scratches?" You know, it's like, absolutely. I mean, I'm not a gambling man as per se. I've had a dabble, a couple times here and there, and been shy away from it. But I'm not full degenerate. But no, clues are really really fun. I was saying the other day that this game would be a lot less sort of variety in case. I think if it didn't have clues, yeah.
Clues were such a good. I got like that was genius by I'm assuming the Gowers put that out.
Yeah,
just
been around for a while. Did you ever have to use the old sextant back in the day? Do it manually before like sort of Rune HQ?
No, it was always Rune HQ because I started old school in 2015. So yeah, I had Rune HQ and I had to use the wiki for the coordinates and Rune HQ for everything else.
Yes,
fucking A. That was so AIDS. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I started,
it was dangerous, bro. Bringing up a web browser whilst you had SwiftKit open too, like that was a gamble, man.
Yeah, no, I mean,
going to crash the computer, you know?
Yeah, there was a lot going, and I was playing on a tiny little laptop, little thin boy with a wireless mouse.
Yeah,
shit could go wrong. But no, I did a lot of mediums when I first started, and that's when the addiction kind of like set in of. Because I was playing a main account, total noob. I mean, I was really a noob in 2015. You wouldn't expect it at this point, but like people were noobs at some point. I was a total noob, and I was just getting back in since my childhood days. And I was like, let's go do some medium clues. Like, that looks fun. I didn't even know what Ranger boots were. I literally didn't know what they were, and I pulled them third medium. They were worth 19 mil at the time, and that was like 5x my bank. So just boom. You know, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even realize what I got. And then my sixth medium, I got another pair. And so that is when everything set in. I'm like, I love clues. I love these. Like, these are the best. And
it's just an OG flex the Rangers hit too. Oh, dude, walking around with that back in the day, you're like, wow, that guy games.
Yeah, Ranger boots look so clean. I still don't have a second pair on this account. I've done almost 1,000 mediums. Just got my first pair with Pegasians now, but I want to get that pair just for the fashionscape.
I picked up a pair 3 days ago before the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a Bando's cloak. Be humble and they give me a pair of Rangers and I got the climbing G boots. I'm like, relax. Give me the Bando's cloak. Damn. I won't be greedy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're on that. You were talking about that. They getting all the master clue items. So how far away are you from that?
Yeah, so just one more I just did the Bando's cloak and I've got all the stash units.
And how many mediums have you done?
Oh, I want to say like maybe 80.
oh, you're fucking golden. You're chilling. 80? Yeah. That's it?
80, bro. Yeah, I got Rangers at like 68 or something like a while ago.
And then you got another pair of Rangers just recently.
Yeah. Kind of gross,
Okay. Yeah. 80. Wow. So you're a cluer. Are you a clogger? You like clogging at all?
I'm neither really, man. I go for like functional items and that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do enjoy clues. I recently did the Zemi full helm grind on the hards and I finished it at 320 of those. And I'll do the masters. I love doing master clues. And yeah, so that's about it. The extent is like it's got to have a means to an end. I probably wouldn't go so much as clogging. I'm just a little bit demotivated because they brought out the collection log after my account, which means there's a whole bunch of it drops essentially on account of you would know the pain.
Use them. Let us use the items. It's time. Yeah. It's 2024. Nobody. You're at a severe disadvantage as an Ironman doing clogging in the first place. And we've already, there's already a shit ton of mains that are already up there. This is not benefiting anyone. It's just making it a true collection log. If you obtain the item, let us fucking use it on the collection log already.
100%. And at the same time, it would actually increase, gameplay, like game time played, I would say, like per Ironman account, especially probably more for the legacy, the older ones. But if I felt like I was like closer and like I had known that every drop I'd ever got was actually accounted for, I'd push way harder to actually spend more time trying to get more collection logs.
Yep.
But the fact now that we have all these drops that aren't accounted for, I'm like, oh well, what's
So
the point?
annoying.
Like I'm not going to go double back like hundreds of drops, so it's just pointless.
They need to allow that. They had the stupidest justification for, it's not even a justification. It's like some random, they said in a Q&A years ago, they're like, yeah, we can't do that because, some Ironman obtain things illegally, like sort of like, without, like they were talking about as if like back in 2014 when Ironman first came out, like there were some people using like a dual arena bug and trading over tacits or some shit. And there might still be a couple accounts out there that, illegally obtain tacits. Like nobody fucking cares. Like what? Like what are we talking about? And so in my opinion, and this is always used against the Iron memes is you chose to limit yourself, sit the fuck down, but in this case, for the mains, like you chose not to limit yourself. So now the Ironmans have an advantage. You chose 100%. Not to limit yourself, and so you don't get to use items on your log.
The only reason I think they're using that excuse is, I don't know, it's bullshit. The real main problem is the fact that too many mains would be upset that we've apparently jumped up the leaderboards on the high scores for collection logs. Like, and it's playing favorites, but
totally. But now it doesn't matter. It's been 6 years almost since the release of Collection Log. I guess just over 5 years. But just send it. Like literally, there are so many more items in the game since back then.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's completing the log anyway. Just fucking let us use them.
100%. I wonder how many years that would be. It would be multiple lifetimes to finish that.
Well, on an Ironman, 100%.
Yeah.
On a main, there are actually a few people getting pretty close. They're not going to do it because one of the so like Marnie has like I want to say like 9 or 10 pieces of third age.
Yeah.
And he's like what 30 some clogs away from total completion. But you got to keep in mind, even if he was 1 away and he was missing, let's say, a fucking third age axe or whatever, I don't know what he's missing. You specifically looking for a third age axe is ridiculous. Like you are just good luck, like going for one specific third age item.
Like I hope you have your account details in your will because your kids are gonna probably be adept with that responsibility.
And then the biggest thing is, okay, we're one collection log away, and guess what? There's a new clue scroll expansion. Now we've come out with second age items. There you go. Here's the second age items. So
the second age X.
yeah. So good luck with all that. However, I am kind of concerned with the collection log in general. One of my the things that's bad about it is it really does kind of hinder nice quality updates, in my opinion. Like I loved that back in the day they could unapologetically come out with a clue scroll expansion. They could just do it. They did that in 2019. Just boom, here's a clue scroll expansion, new items, new shit. And nowadays, if you come out with a new clue scroll expansion where you're coming out with new stuff on the medium and the easy and the hard and the elite log, people are gonna riot because people have already green logged it.
That's right.
They're gonna riot and freak the fuck out. So it's just we're at this really delicate position now where the clogging, people take it so goddamn seriously that we're limited in the things we can, upgrade and have expansions for.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I didn't actually think about that.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same kind of argument that goes along with the Completionist cape. People really want the Completionist cape. Even I, low key, sort of want it. It'd be kind of fun to get. I say these things. It's kind of like a doomer mentality of even like talking about just the last example I brought up of the collection log of like, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like I say these things in a negative light. Ultimately, I love RuneScape. I love playing the game. Most updates that have come out have just been ultimately fun and they're great, but I have to still be a pessimist with certain things and say my thoughts. But Completionist cape, they would have some very negative side effects to that. And that is one is like every single update that comes out now, everyone's going to be whining and moaning. Every little thing because, I got to get my fucking Completionist cape back. God damn it. Like, you son of a bitch. Like, I'm going to try to vote no to this thing because I don't want to do that. And that's going to require my Completionist cape. And it's just going to be a headache dealing with. And
Sorry.
No. That was pretty much it. I was just going to ask if you had any experience with CAs, like having to upkeep those. I don't know
No, I thought the update and the latest update was a very good idea, and not having to complete every single one in every single tier.
Yeah.
I think that was allowing of like a few more account types, and it was just a bit more
Totally.
flexibility. That it was smart. But I thought there was a Reddit post not long ago where a guy made it was like a staff. Do you remember this? A staff and a book. And there was like it looked different depending on how many collection log slots you had actually achieved.
Yeah, I'm a huge
And
fan. Yeah, no, go.
yeah,
Go.
and it basically it was really cool because like you'd be in that mode of like fashionscape where like maybe you're at a maxing party and like it's a time to sort of like show off your wares to the boys and your achievements and things. And I thought that was a really cool way to do it without having to like get an item back. It's more so like you could add another item if it reaches a new tier in a sense.
So this is my take. This has kind of been altered. So for those listening that are listening to a bunch of casts, this is going to be slightly different than what I've said previously. But I'm okay with. Okay, so first of all, I just want to address your thing. An upgradable collection log book that's wieldable is a phenomenal.
And a staff, yeah.
I don't even
Like
care about the staff personally. If it was just the collection log book, that's enough.
Yeah. That you can equip itself.
Yeah. You equip it, and what it is every 100 logs it upgrades.
Yeah.
So there's a new look to it, and the best part about this is it's like the antithesis of what a completionist cape would be, where you feel like you want to vote no on things because you want to keep your cape. This would incentivize more updates coming out and more content being released because you ultimately want to get to the next tier. And so if there's a new update that's coming out, it's going to offer 15 more collection logs. Ooh, like I can get to my next 100 easier. And that just keeps progressing. So there's no gatekeeping. I know Mod Kieran at one point in Q&A was like, what if we had a completionist cape that was like 80%? And then you get it. It's like, what the hell is that? Like, that's not. So this would be the ultimate flex of how many collection logs you've had, and it's a wieldable book that could maybe have some teleports on it, and it looks badass as hell, and it's fun to carry around. And my other thing I wanted to say was for completionist cape, personally, if it were to come out, just let it be quests, all quests, all achievement diaries, all combat tasks, all music, all emotes, and maybe you've just killed all bosses at least once. And you've killed, and you've done like one of each clue type once, or maybe even that could be like the tiers of clues, like 100 masters, 200, whatever it is, something like that. Simple for the most part. There's nothing crazy like do all Castle Wars shit. Like what is that? And don't have any of it related to collection log. Because then you have the two separates where like you have the completionist cape that feels like a good solid flex that you're pretty overall completed, then you have the attachment of the book that you could flex.
What they really should do is just like they should just put it up as a this would be out the gate. Imagine they say we will give 5% equity stake in Jagex if anyone completes the collection. That would be so bad, man. Like it'd be great for business. Like no one would ever finish it, obviously, but wow, I think that'd be a good piece of PR.
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be worth a lot too.
Highly encouraging degeneracy.
It would be like Ready Player One, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, like
yep.
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
Yep.
Good movie.
There was somebody, I think, was it Frey on the cast I had like a month ago or so on, and he was talking about like what if there was a collection log cape in the game, but just nobody could get it because it requires all collection logs.
That's cool. Like honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like it's nice to have a little bit of like mystery and mystique, you know.
Yeah, that was the cool thing about like their what was that thing they did? The treasure.
Oh yeah.
What am I talking about right now?
Marks the spot.
Was that it? Now it's a quest, or is that the thing we're thinking of? Like the Helm of Railvald or whatever the hell it's called?
Yeah, I think it is called. It's like an introduction.
Crack the clue. That's what I was thinking. That's the term I was thinking. But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and then they should just leave it as an Easter egg, in terms of like what the appearance looks like. Like they should make it an Easter egg. Like maybe you got to hunt down an NPC who shows it to you or something, or equips it for a split second, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how the coding works. I feel like the wiki team and everybody else is just like super on their detective grinds, and whenever anything comes out, they find out all the information about it before anything's actually revealed.
Yeah,
But who
we're
knows?
so lucky to have that wiki. Like the game for RuneLite and for the wiki is so much more enjoyable because of those platforms. Shout out to those guys
For
that
real.
develop those and keep them up. They are apart from. I got a little bone to pick because I was doing the Sally Maniacs episode, the series with a good friend of mine. Shout out Theodora Bowman. We were going for tomes of water because our only weapons we could use during the series were salamanders.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this tech where you can stand diagonally and still attack with them, which is really cool because you don't need like obstacles or anything like that, like a bow does. And so we went for the Tome of Waters because on the wiki they said that it increases the accuracy and the duration of the Tome of Water. And we spent like 3 weeks between both of us trying to get one each. And then about 6 days before we had gotten them, someone had edited the wiki and corrected it to basically say that the Tome of Waters didn't increase the duration, just the accuracy. So we just wasted 3 weeks. At fucking Temporos, bro, we were losing our minds. Like, we got so desperate. After every game, we'll be like, okay, 5 pulls, let's go. It's got to be this one. Like, we were just, chaos.
Pain.
Yeah. Funny though.
Yeah, no, the wiki is insane. RuneLite, I mean, endless praise to the RuneLite team. I mean, like, bro, we are so like, dude, I seriously, I think about this. I would be genuinely willing to pay $25 a month to use RuneLite. I'd gladly pay it.
Yep.
But it's completely free. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're so spoiled, man. Like, we had the wiki and RuneLite. That's nuts.
They do have a Patreon, by the way. It's like patreon.com/RuneLite. If you guys want to show your support there.
That is actually a fucking great shout. I actually need to do that. I've supported a couple of creators, but definitely need to get on that. Because seriously, like, they do... RuneLite is a game changer. It's a completely different game. It's so nice. It's so goddamn great. Like, this game is amazing because of it.
And it's quite lightweight. Like, do you remember OBS? I'm pretty sure I heard stories like they actually hash your CPU for crypto mining, and that's why it was so heavy. That could just be a rumor, but
oh wow,
yeah, I didn't know if it was like that heavy for that reason, but I heard stories that they actually CPU hashed.
Jesus.
That could be, I don't know, that could be a lie, but
yeah, I mean,
it would make sense.
When OS Buddy was a thing, I gladly paid the whatever it was, $4 a month or $3.50, whatever it was.
Yeah. Wait, I said OS Buddy, eh? Wait,
you said wait. You said OBS, but I think
OBS.
OS Buddy.
Oh, OS Buddy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I mean, even $5 a month, bro. Like for some premium features, I reckon they should at least turn it into a freemium because they deserve it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But that's a great shout. They do have a Patreon. Everything's free, and you can support if you want. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so let's see. Here's a question from. Well, it's not a question, but Nomad says, "Does Ron?" Well, it is a question. Well, first one is a question. Does Ron live in the USA now? I could see him living in Texas, owning a gun, and go shooting or hunting every day.
I'm not a massive fan of the hunter skill per se, but there was a snapshot, a photo that was doing the rounds a little bit. I'll give you a little backstory. Well, my sister lives in Sydney. She's across the ditch from me, 3-hour flight, and me and a friend he's very good with photography and stuff. So he was recruited to take photos of the weekend. And we went over there, and it was a pretty big weekend. For some reason, I think it's hospitality. Australians party hard on a Sunday, so I ended up waking on a Monday to a friend of mine pouring vodka in my mouth while I was asleep on my bed. And naturally, the degenerate I am, I just started swallowing rather than spitting it out. And before I know it, I'm in the lounge, and I've got a cigarette in my hand. And I'm trying to find a lighter. No one's got a lighter. So I'm using a little bit of Kiwi ingenuity, and I'm using the toaster to no avail. So then I was like, okay, what else can I use? And the oven grill. I'll turn that on. And as I turn on the oven grill, picture me, I'm in socks. I've got a cigarette in one hand, and I've got a cowboy hat on, and that's it. I am completely naked, apart from those 3 items. And I'm kneeling down in front of this oven, right? And my mate's kind of hearing all the commotion going on. So he runs in when he's got this camera, and he goes, hold that pose, right? Smile at the camera, got the cigarette in front of the oven. Anyway, so I go on, and actually the grill worked. It was a great success. And, so catch the flight the next day, come back, stream Tuesday, and some of the boys, Skidler and John and all the boys, kind of hear about this weekend. And I was telling my chat, and there's like an album of photos, and this in particular one they all wanted to see, but I was like, well, I can't because my hiney's in it. And they're like, we'll just Photoshop it out. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll chuck a pink bucket hat. Seems reasonably appropriate. We'll chuck one of those over my bum. And so I Photoshopped it quite riskily on, I don't even know if that's a word, on my other monitor. And then I pulled it up on the stream. And everyone's having a good crack up, like they're all, oh, what a weekend, that looks fucking hilarious, all this sort of shit. And anyway, I'm reading down in the chat, and this one guy, Johnny Bravo 1993, he pipes up and he goes, Ron, I can see your dick and your balls in the reflection of the oven door.
No.
Bro, take it down.
Oh my God.
No, the angle at which the photo had been taken on had perfectly reflected the way I was kneeling down with one knee on the floor and then one leg up, as if I'm about to be knighted. Perfectly exposed my little Varrock Town Centre. General store, water fountain was in there, the whole lot. And so it was so good because after that comment, you could see everyone in the chat stop typing, and then they read his comment, and they would have been looking at the monitor and then just trying to see what he was saying, and then everyone lost the shit.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, everyone saw it. So my little Winston was on display. Damage control. There was 30 clips, bro, within 2 minutes. So I was trying to delete all those. I had to stop the stream. It was a pretty funny way to show my phallus for the first time on the internet. Yeah.
Damn, that could have been some OnlyFans content. You missed out.
So that was a tangent, but that he's probably getting his inspiration from my profile picture at the moment, which is me with that cowboy hat looking back at the camera, and I have an American flag in the background. And I just thought I would really, put my marketing degree to use and really go after my target market, which does seem to be the Americans. So, a point of relatability, if you will. It's a piss take, though. I have not moved, but would I move to Texas? Probably not.
Yeah, Texas. I lived in Texas for a couple years.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you find that?
I mean, so I was actually serving a Mormon mission when I was there for 2 years. So I wasn't really just living. I was doing stuff, but no, it was nice. The area is really nice. I was living in Houston and in Katy, Texas. Katy, Texas is really, really, really beautiful and nice. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I actually really like Texas. I wouldn't mind living there ultimately, but there's a lot of perks to it. But yeah, you definitely get that sort of, well, in some parts of Texas especially, you get that hella K-Kona vibe for sure. But
full Wild Wild West.
Yeah, but in the city, I mean, it's just anywhere else, kind of anywhere else in the States, sort of, where it's just a big city, sort of got that city life. But yeah, when you imagine Texas, you imagine a bunch of cowboys and stuff when you're actually there. Again, certain parts you're going to get those cowboys, but a lot of parts it's pretty much normal America. So
would it be comparable to Yellowstone? Kind of.
Yeah, some parts of Texas would be like that, country vibe,
Yeah.
And I've been to Yellowstone as well, so yeah, kind of.
Have you seen the series?
Oh, the actual show? I don't think so. I've definitely heard about it, but I've never seen it.
It's not bad. It's worth a watch.
Yeah. Yeah, Texas is massive though. I mean, it's fucking just huge.
Yeah.
How big is Australia compared to Texas? I actually want to know that. Let me look that up. Texas versus Australia size, like area size.
You'll have to include New Zealand in that as well.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of Australia though, just because I feel like Australia is massive, but then oh wow, Australia is massive. Jesus Christ, holy shit.
It's like to fly from Sydney.
No, I mean, look at this. I'll send you a picture of just like what Texas. At first I thought Texas would actually like sort of be like maybe half, but it's.
Oh, did you put it over the top of it?
Yeah, yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, that's a shout. No, Australia's huge.
Yeah, holy shit. Because Texas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's wild.
I was expecting like half. Yeah, Texas is big, but yeah, Australia's massive. Jesus. What's the size of New Zealand compared to Australia?
I feel like we maybe take up like one, like I don't even know. I want to say like maybe we're the size of New South Wales, which is that photo in the bottom right. That would be a guess. Is New Zealand bigger than New South Wales? Images. Oh, okay. So there you go. Look, I think that might be from the same thing.
Let me see it.
But yeah, it looks kind of comparable to Texas almost.
Wow,
probably a
yeah,
bit smaller. Yeah. Actually, I don't reckon that was a bad guess, but yeah, no, Australia is a big fiery island,
Jesus Christ, it is.
but majority of it's like uninhabited, really.
That's crazy.
It's something like top 50 deadliest snakes in the world. Like 48 of them are on Australia.
Bro, what the hell?
That thing was condemned. It's like everything wants to kill you on that island, including the woman.
Oh my god. How? Yeah, that's. I was I almost hesitate to even say this because I can't fully recall, but I was reading this book called *Sapiens*, and it was just talking about like the whole history of like humanity and how like humans living in Australia, like basically like the early humans that lived there, like just totally decimated the place, like with certain animals. Like so many animals went extinct because of humans.
Oh yeah,
in Australia,
100%.
just a huge percentage of them.
Yeah,
and it's just wild to think how much like just I don't know, thinking of like, you know, because you put like an animal in a certain like a new habitat, like I know like Florida has like problems with like crocodiles or alligators I think, not crocodiles. I don't know the difference really, but now they're like infested basically. Like they get like infestations when you just release new animals into new parts of the land. But it's crazy like when you see humans as animals and you shove them in some new part of the land, just start driving other animals extinct like pretty rapidly. Yeah, crazy.
Destructive beings, aren't
We really are. It's crazy. It's nuts. Okay, Arousin asks, this is gonna be really good, finally, after many requests. Best streaming moment. Where is your magma mutagen? And if you could remove anything from the game, what would it be?
Best streaming moment. Oh, I want to say honestly, the Sanguinesi stuff was a pretty iconic drop. It was like, I hate that it boiled down to a drop, but it's so much more than a drop. As you said before, it's like you get to share that with, you know, hundreds of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty special. So it was probably just that. I would say, yeah, it's what it all encapsulates. But I would say, yeah, the Lamborghini stuff, 1,250, I think, chests to get that. And Nelly Furtado, Fly Like a Bird, was playing at the perfect time. I opened the chest, and it's like, that, and like it hit the chorus or whatever, and it was the staff, and I just fucking went ballistic.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty
So
good.
this is before the Shadow, right? It was even released.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was before the Shadow. That was years ago. The Nilhorn was more relief, I think, than anything. I went so dry for it, like it almost wasn't exciting, but it was. But I think the Infernal Cape too. I feel like every RuneScape player who's gotten one of those can probably attest to, like, it's quite that kind of deliberate content is some of the best in the game, alongside Top, I feel, and it's super special when you finally grind that out.
Yeah, because you're overcoming something that's hella difficult, and you finally do it. It's like, wow.
And you learn so much along the way, and like you become a better gamer for it. And
totally,
it's like getting a full gaming license.
And your confidence just spikes. It's like, okay, I can do everything now.
Yeah, 100%. The Magma Mutagen, that I do not have because I was doing Zora. And I went to combo eat because I was being like real efficient. It was like, I'm trying to think what phase. It was the range phase last. I was like about 40 HP. And I went to do one hit to kill it. And then I was going to eat because I had PID effectively. And I misclicked my combo eat. I died, but I also killed it before I did.
No.
And then Magma Mutagen, respawned on the ground. So. My favorite cosmetic in the bin. Luckily, there's no meta for SERPs now.
Yeah, but oh my god, what was your like? How did you react?
2 hands in the face. Pretty standard protocol.
Like, that does not happen. Like, that's such a rare drop. What is the likelihood of double deathing and getting that? Like, oh my god, that's dreadful.
I mean, I guess I'm not like super well known for staying alive the whole time. I'm not like. I envy people who can juggle conversations seamlessly and play the game like it's like riding a bike.
Mm-hmm.
My brain, I don't know, doesn't kind of allow that so well.
I mean, even if you die 100 times, I mean, still the rarity is just.
Oh yeah,
double deathing is just still crazy. That sucks, man. Dude, did you? Speaking of, I don't know if you ever saw that Ignoble Solid clip where he literally gets a Nile horn at Nex and double deaths. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the collection log slot popped up, and when he spawned, fuck, it's good.
Oh, that is so. Yeah, I can only imagine like if that happened to you. Can you imagine if that happened to you?
Quit forever, bro.
Oh,
as Josh Rife would say, I'd just send Jagex a cease and desist letter. No more.
The only good thing, like the only silver lining to that, is the fact that it was recorded and people can laugh at your peril. And you could milk it for like some crazy ass content. But imagine like you weren't a creator. It just fucking just happens. Yeah.
I'd be like, B-He, this one is an exclusive clip and you're going to have to buy this one off me.
For real. For real.
I want a tier 3 sub and you can have it.
Yeah,
I'm
for
cheap.
real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, if you could remove anything from the game, what would it be?
Man, that could go so many ways. If I could remove anything from the game, what would it be? Part of me would like to say the GE because I absolutely miss the old days of just manually selling shit, but like it's not realistic. There's too many people and it doesn't scale well and it'd be more of a pain. Now that we have faster gameplay and stuff.
I do agree with you, by the way. I loved I love that. Just not. I think the idea of not having a grand exchange really feels like RuneScape to me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to think of all the points where I've been like, I hate this. And RuneScape's pretty good at not having that.
I definitely think some of the worst content that has come out have just been like deliberate devalue. So I'm like really like I'm not a purist, but I like having Ironman be that mode where you play solo. You have to grind for your shit. It's like you're choosing to limit yourself basically, and I like that. So certain things have really pissed me off. Like one is the Chaos Altar, just literally cutting the prayer time in half. Like I actually really missed the like build your POH, get a gilded altar, and go to your POH and train prayer efficiently. And then all of a sudden it was like, nah, this is just a wilderness skill at this point. It's just stupid, and you're trolling if you're not doing it. And the other update I really hated was like I really hated Zaya rune crafting. I think that was like just really dumb the way they did it. It was just boring as fuck, and it was just bad. And again, this is like years ago. I used to like hate this, but it's just been so long since. It's just like whatever. And recently, I don't like the Scar Essence mine. I think that was a bad update as well. Because it's a band-aid fix. It's something where like you could really spend some time fixing rune crafting and making it really worthwhile and making new things. Like I'm not going to go all into this right now on the cast, but like there's some great ideas to improve it, but instead they're just like, here, we'll just make it a buyable where you do 1 hour of rune crafting for the next year and you're good. As an Ironman, that's just against the spirit in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's got merit.
Yeah.
I am drawing a blank on that one. We'll circle back to that. I'll let that incubate for a bit.
Okay. So, let's see. You are currently doing a game show. Is it weekly? Is it bi-monthly? Is it monthly? The Deal or Steal or Steal or Deal? Steal and Deal. Deal and Steal.
Yeah, so doing it probably at most, I'd say like maybe once a month kind of thing at the moment. It's sort of as it comes. Yeah, just like kind of like when I feel like it, I guess, which is kind of a lazy answer, but yeah, so it's a combination of Deal or No Deal and Golden Balls. Do you know what Golden Balls is?
No, but I know what Deal or No Deal is.
Yeah, Golden Balls is contestants. Let's say they've got $50,000. Like the end game of Golden Balls is there's $50,000 and there's two contestants, and they have to reveal whether or not they're going to split or steal. And so if they both say steal, then they don't get anything of the 50K.
Yeah.
This is a very basic version of the show. And then there's split or steal. So like if one goes split, one goes steal, person who stole gets 50, and then if they both say split, they both get 25K. So Deal and Steal is a combination of both of those, where two contestants, they play together as a team to get a high, I guess the highest offer from the bank if possible. And then once they've got that sum of money, then they do the Golden Balls mechanic at the end, and they're gonna have to play against one another. It's quite fun.
I see. So yeah, I actually now know what you're talking about with that game, because I saw a clip of that guy that's like, I've decided to steal and I will split the money with you after the show, basically. And the guy's like, oh shit, like what? Like, are you sure? And like the host is like, no, he doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. He's like, I will, I promise. And then at the very final reveal, it shows that they both split. And I was like, oh, so wholesome.
So good.
I know.
A few people, I think that's actually happened twice on mine now. Like people have adopted that strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times. But
that's cool.
I'm trying to get people who don't often game together as well, just to introduce some different dynamics and stuff.
That's smart.
Quite fun. Just because like you get two people that know each other well and like they never want to fuck each other over.
I know. It's like that's what I'm thinking. Like if it's just
but they have good chemistry.
Yeah. Like you're just an asshole if you steal it. Like, come on, man. Like what the hell's wrong with you? But it still is for content, for sure. You gotta get that content going. Yeah.
And so we added another mechanic where where people cheer, donate or gift subs, and it counts towards like a goal, effectively, like a hype boss. And when you complete it, I've got this extension for Twitch where people can click on a case on the screen from the comfort of their own home, and they can collectively vote on a case the viewers would like to pick. So they can kind of stitch up the contestants as well, or they can help them out. So that's been quite fun to see them. I've always liked to engage the viewers in a certain way and bring them into it, because I feel like that's the spirit of Twitch, you know.
Yeah.
And there's some good plugins and extensions out there that allow you to do that.
That's cool. What would if I'm just thinking now, if you were in an IRL setting with a total stranger playing the golden ball thing, and let's just say there was $20,000 on the line, would you split or steal, knowing that the other person could scam you? I guess that's oversimplification, because it has to depend on the vibe you're getting, but
that's right. I mean, like it would depend on my own, I guess, monetary sort of, you know, needs at the time, the person's character, do I take them as someone who would steal? A lot of factors, but I would say as an oversimplification on maybe my own morals and being just and fair, I would split.
Yeah. It really, I feel like if you were in that situation with the actual vibe of the environment and the person's energy, like you could literally tell, like, if they're going to steal or not.
If it was a dog, it was an absolute dog who'd been an asshole. And just the way he played the game, I would play the game and definitely deceive him.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
I feel like if there was like too much money on the line, like you're like kind of like, it's kind of dangerous, sort of, to like really fuck somebody over, like of like real money that could like I'd be like, I need like security home, please. Like get me out of here.
Yeah. I guess the amount of money you play for is obviously it's a driver. Like I'm sure there would be an amount where no matter what you'd probably, I don't know, actually.
I'm just thinking like if there was like some guy that looks like a psychopath across from you and you're lying to him and then you eventually like steal it and he splits and you fucking walk out, I'm like, I'm scared for my life right now. Like this guy could fucking come after me at this point. Yeah. Like he just like imagine he lost like 50,000. Like that's gonna keep him up at night, Like Jesus Christ.
Go in there with a fake name or something.
What? Sorry.
You'd have to go in there with like a fake name.
Oh yeah. Just like it's something. Just leave the country or something. I don't know. Just a total psychopath across from you. Like I could just. That's terrifying.
I guess the more money as well that was up for grabs. Like at the end of the day, it's like actually makes it easier to probably be a good person because at some point,
there's
like,
so much. It's like
so much money. It's like I don't need it all.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Do you have that? I think we're kind of wrapping up things. I want to ask you for 3 shout-outs. Did you have something for the worst update in the game? I guess I'll
something to remove from the game.
Yeah. Something to remove.
Something to remove.
Have you ever done MTA? MTA is not really like something you need to do anyway, so it's like whatever.
Yeah, no, I have. I've done everything there. Done the
really.
And
oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, when I say everything, I mean like all the cores. So like I did.
Okay. I thought you green logged
the wand
like, fucking
and the boots.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, fuck. Yeah, I mean, people would praise me if I said MTA, but I feel like that would be predictable.
Yeah.
I would say the tentacles from Sire can fuck right off. Bro, there's nothing worse than reading the chat and then like running to a, different part of the room or something accidentally and just getting whack, on the back of the head. That triggers me so much. I don't know.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
Oh, one thing I would do is swap the animations from the Arclight and the Fang. So the Arclight has this really cool like 360 stabbing thing, which makes sense, but it's a slash spec weapon, and then the Fang has like this really really cool slash animation.
Oh, you're
but
right.
Yeah.
I'm imagining them both right now. That would be amazing.
Yeah. What about you? Anything you'd remove?
Well, I already said those. Well, I think the Chaos Altar should be removed. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, sorry, you did too. Yeah.
But, yeah. And plus the prayer. I mean, the prayer meta nowadays is like just like 1-to-1 with Slayer. You have so much ashes and other things. So I just hate having to go out in the wilderness. Like fuck that stuff. But again, I'm maxed. It's not like it really matters. So a lot of this stuff I don't really care about. But yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. The Fang and the Arclight switch. Okay, Ron. I'm going to ask you for 3 shout-outs now to kind of wrap things up. Also, for those still listening, down in the description, I'll have Ron's links, his Twitch, his Twitter. Are you on YouTube? Actually, I don't know.
I'm on the tube. Yeah. No, I am. I've got a lot of my game show episodes up there. And yeah, I've got Sally Maniac series that I did with Mr. Theodore Bowman and a few other bits and pieces, just stream highlights and stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Plenty of stuff on there. Yeah.
I just subscribed. I'm looking at it on my end right now. Yeah, everyone go down in the description. Go drop them a follow for me on those 3 platforms. Is there anything else you want linked?
Oh, maybe a link to my drinking game I'm developing.
I mean, I'm down.
If you guys do want a fun little drinking game for the summer, I'm currently only shipping within New Zealand just because I haven't organized anything overseas officially. But maybe if you throw my Discord in there and they can message me privately if they're from another country and I have other shipping options. It's called rolledgame.com is the website. Yeah, it's a little bit of fun. Encapsulates a dice and 1,000 different drinking challenges on it.
Perfect.
It's been a cool little project. Yeah, and it's actually great. You could use it when you stream. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drinking game, but you can create your own games on it. So you can assign every side of the dice, like all different content, and yeah, it's quite a fun little mechanic for the streams that I use at the moment.
Cool. Okay, I'll have that down there as well, and I'll have your Discord linked.
Legend, huge.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you for 3 shout-outs.
Okay. First shout out goes out to my lovely girlfriend, Cult Leader 69. Bless up, Slay Queen. Second shout out is going to none other than the Rontourage, the community that's given me everything. And yeah, not going to get too cheesy on it, but I love you guys. And a third shout out would be to you, good sir, for hosting a great string of podcasts. And yeah, bringing the community one step closer together every time you do it.
That is really sweet of you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, great shout outs. Thank you for the shout out as well. It's fun. It's always a pleasure. This was genuinely a really nice conversation. This was really, it's fun meeting you, man. Like for real talk, like getting to talk for a few hours.
Likewise, it's gone quick.
Yeah,
and
it flies by.
yeah, surprisingly, I was like, when you see like 2 or 3 hours, I was like, yeah, it's a bit of a stint, bro. But honestly, it feels like a little hour and a half sort of stint, man. So no, I've really enjoyed it. Been an honor. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, guys, as I said, down in the description, go show him some love, follow his links, and also if you guys want to support the cast, there's a Patreon link or a YouTube membership link down there if you want to support. Get your name on the title screens. This Thursday, we're going to have Mutz on the cast for his second appearance. He is a Blorva, Zuckhelm, hardcore Ironman gamer, the literal legend, so I'm excited to talk to him again. And yeah, thank you once again, Ron, for coming on.
Been a pleasure, bro. Appreciate it. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. All right, everyone, take it easy, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.